EugeneHomeshow.com. At this week's show, meet the area's best experts, daring designers, innovative builders, and remodelers. Discover courageous contractors who renew and refresh homes. Find cabinet makers and creative landscapers. Get tailgating and grilling with America's Grilling Buddies and the hilarious comedy team Mad Dog and Merrill. Experience the giant pumpkin carving. Explore over 200 exhibits. Save with Only Here, Only Now show specials on stoves, spas, grills, and greenhouses. Admission is free. Plan your visit around 40 home and garden seminars at EugeneHomeshow.com.
Tom here at Max Muscle. You've heard about all the amazing flavors of Max Pro, and now the wait is over. S'mores. The new flavor of Max Pro is in stores now. The perfect high-protein, low-carb, no-sugar shake. Come on in, give it a try. Max Muscle on Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson.
And I'm Marcia Edwards of the Real Estate Today Show. We've been standing next to Mark Brockett of Willamette Valley Bank Home Loan Division. He is an amazing lender for residential loans.
He has an opportunity to take a look at your situation, identify, but for instance, should you refinance? It could save you a lot of money for a number of years to come. Fantastic.
That's Mark Brockett. Call him today.
You can reach Mark at 541-431-0236. That's Willamette Valley Bank Home Loan Division at 3007 North Delta, Suite 205.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock index futures are little changed this morning as investors assess the odds of the Fed judging the U.S. economy strong enough to withstand an interest rate increase this year. Right now, S&P futures are up 1 point. NASDAQ futures up 3. Dow futures are unchanged. NYMEX crude is lower by just about 0.6% this morning at $48.51 a barrel. Darden Restaurants is cooking up share gains in pre-market trading this morning. The owner of Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, and Capitol Grill saw a quarterly profit that topped analyst estimates, helped by higher sales at the Olive Garden. Volkswagen is asking a federal judge in San Francisco to approve its $1.2 billion agreement with U.S. dealerships for losses caused by its emissions cheating scandal. This would boost the amount VW would pay to resolve U.S. lawsuits to $16.5 billion. Elsewhere, investors will look to data this week, including factory orders and a report on payrolls for indications of the health of the U.S. economy. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
I need to find a happy story right now.
Holloway in London.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Wayne County's wake-up call on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
All right, 629. Are you one of the Oregon fans that have talked about, maybe thought about replacing Oregon coach Mark Helfrich? Ryan Sotelo took it to the next level. He created a GoFundMe account in pursuit of getting enough money to buy out the coach's contract. Ryan joins us now in sunny Santa Cruz, California, and joins us on the Wake Up Call. Ryan, good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning. Not so sunny right now. It's a little, I'd say pitch black outside.
Okay, dark. Okay. Well, do you have a sunny forecast?
Usually it's just nice here all the time.
A little bit of fog maybe in the morning, but by 10, it's beautiful, and you're headed for the beach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
Hey, how much do you currently have in the kitty?
I'd say over 200 right now. I think 210.
210. And
so you've only got about, 17 million to go.
Yeah. I think it was 10,999,000 plus to go. Just it was a bit of an unrealistic goal, but for me it kind of started out like as a bit of a joke, something to distract me from the scoreboard when we're getting handled by Washington State on Saturday.
So pretty much that was the clincher. The game over this last weekend was what kind of got this whole thing rolling. Now, if you were to get enough money, and the administration was, okay, we'll take it. We'll oust Helfrich. Who would you want to replace him with? Out of curiosity.
Oh gosh. Oh. Lord, they don't pay me enough to know those things for sure.
So you just want him out. You don't have any second contingency plans ready to go.
Well, no, not really. I mean, there's a lot of coaches that I keep hearing Tom Herman. I believe that's the guy out of Houston. I keep hearing that, but it's going to be tough because I think USC and some other teams are going to be looking as well. But all I know is that this is the fourth year I think for Mark. A lot of teams take a bit to kind of establish the culture and or rather for a new coach coming in. And I think right now it's kind of showing that maybe he's not the guy.
So you're not a fan?
Not
Okay.
a huge fan. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but maybe we don't really need a nice guy as a head coach.
What have you heard from the University of Oregon?
I heard. I'm not even sure if it's official. I really haven't heard much of anything, but I did get an email yesterday, I think early in the morning, from someone claiming to be Rob Mullins, saying that the photo that we had, Rob Mullins being the athletic director for the University of Oregon, and it was claiming that the photo that I had on the site was copyrighted. So, I just replaced it with one of my own.
So,
really? They were going to go after you for copyright infringement?
Apparently.
God, you got to love the U of O marketing department, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's been the response from fans? Any negative reactions?
I just got one today. It was just kind of saying that it pretty much falls in line with the biggest criticism I get, and that's just that 2 years ago we won the Rose Bowl. Then right after that went to the national championship. But what I usually say to those people, I ask them a question in return. I ask when a new coach takes over a program, and he doesn't do so well his first year or two, what is usually said? We say, give him time. These aren't his players. Let him get his recruits. Let him build his culture. Okay? So now, we saw in Helfrich's first 2 years, he went to the Rose Bowl and he went to the national championship. Pretty much the same as Chip Kelly. But if you say that the first 2 years of a good coach who doesn't do so well, if you say that isn't a measurement for his success, how can you say that a coach who does very well his first 2 years can use it as a measurement for success? Now, at his third year and his fourth year, we're seeing the culture come into play. We're seeing his recruits come into play. I think there's like 4 or 5 contributing players on the team right now that weren't his recruits, or rather weren't his recruits when he was head coach. So he has time. He's had time to develop these players. He's had time to recruit behind like the starters, behind Mariota and the quarterbacks and so on. And we're really not seeing any results from that. None. We're seeing one of the worst defenses in college football right now. We're seeing
aren't they giving up about 37 points a game?
It's pretty bad. It's like 100. I think I saw a stat. It was somewhere in the 120s, or at least that low. And you can give Hoke a little bit of time. I think that we can give some time for our defensive coordinator. But as far as the offense, these are the same people who've been running it. Washington State gave up 45 points to Eastern Washington, an FCS team, albeit a good FCS team, and they gave up nearly 500 passing yards. Gave up 200 passing yards from Oregon, and a lot of it, I think, was in garbage time against the backups.
Talking to Ryan Sotelo out of Santa Cruz, California. He's an Oregon fan who has erected a GoFundMe account to buy out Coach Helfrich. He's at just over $200. Okay, so question, did you have any idea that this would kind of blow up as much as it has, and how much has it blown up? Who have you heard from that wants to talk to you besides us?
I think another radio station in Portland wanted to talk to me. It was KXL, I think. I kind of put that off a little bit because they were asking me last night. But as far as the expectation of it, again, it was just something I go on one of an Oregon forum on 247sports.com. I go there, and there's just the other fans there. I just put that on there as a joke. Someone brought it up. It's like, someone should make a GoFundMe page. No one was doing it. I thought, it'd be funny. And I put it up there, half serious, half joking. And then before I knew it, someone donates $100. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And then 5, and then 10, 15 more people start doing it. And I'm only just over 200. I'm not blowing up thousands of dollars within a couple days. But, it was interesting just how many people are sharing it and kind of passing it along and showing that there is real interest in this kind of goal of campaign.
Okay, two things, because we're coming up against the wire here.
Sure.
What are you going to do with the money if you don't get the millions and millions of dollars that you're looking for? What are you going to do with it?
Whether it's $200 or $200,000, The original idea was to get it to the athletic department on the condition that they use it to buy out Helfrich and fire him. So if they don't do that, every cent of it is going to go to charity. I was thinking St. Jude's Children's Hospital or a similar organization.
Good choice.
All right, question number 2. How much money do you think, if you get this amount, the administration and, the University of Oregon has to consider taking this seriously if they're not already? So where do you think that the amount of money lies as far as if they get $1,000, if they get, 7,000, where do you think it lies that it needs to be taken seriously and looked at?
Oh boy, this is people's hard-earned money, and they're I think any amount is to be taken seriously. However, I'd say when they would start worrying, like really worrying about it, is probably when it gets into I would say 10,000 plus range. I don't know if it'll ever get up there, but that's when I would start getting a little worried about it in their position.
Sure. And full well that things can go viral, because what did your dad do a couple of years ago?
Oh boy. My dad decided he wanted to burn his season tickets for Oregon's men's basketball team, and I was the guy behind the camera when he did it. It kind of set things afire, no pun intended there, within the athletic department, from what I heard, and Ernie Kent ended up getting canned shortly after that.
So you think you had some responsibility there because of your video?
I put it on YouTube, and I got some bad comments. That was about it.
It's hilarious. Well, okay, Ryan. By the way, how many Oregon Duck fans are you seeing in Santa Cruz, California these days?
I'd say, every day I might see one. I see cars with the O on it. I have people here who I actually know who are from Oregon and who are fans. Say a handful of people a day.
So maybe some legit non-bandwagoner fans down there.
Yes, absolutely. I know that for a fact. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna GoFundMe account is under what's the name?
Fire Helfrich.
Okay. Thanks for the time. We'll keep in touch.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Ryan Sotelo with the GoFundMe account to buy out Coach Helfrich at 6:39.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Terrific inventory, great prices.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797 at Jackson Jones Law.
If you really want to protect your vehicle's floor, why would you settle for anything less than the most advanced vehicle floor protection available? I'm David McNeil, founder of WeatherTech. The main goal when we design, engineer, and manufacture our floor liners is to protect your vehicle's floor, period. We realize you've made quite an investment in your vehicle, so we do everything possible to help you protect it. We don't cut corners, and we don't compromise on quality, ever. We test our custom-fit WeatherTech floor liners to ensure they hold up against anything and everything that falls on them. Dirt, sand, snow, mud, even food and drinks. And our floor liners are made right here in America, with American raw materials and, of course, American workers. So now that you know how passionate we are about protection, Just imagine the detail and energy we put into every aspect of our floor liners. Learn more today about our full line of automotive accessories at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech Floor Liners, complete protection, completely American-made.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We've got mostly cloudy skies out there right now. Temps in the upper 40s to low 50s. Light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10, and we are tracking light showers off and on the radar. Those light showers off and on will continue into the afternoon as a second set of storm cores moves into the area, as well as a cold front. 80% chance of showers this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies will dominate. Highs will only be in the upper 50s to low 60s. 61 here in town, and winds will stay southwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Latest data suggests we could be looking at a half inch of showers today, as well as another half inch tomorrow in the valleys, with a full inch to an inch and a half over the next 48 hours along the coast. Simply put, the rainy weather is here for the next couple of days. The computers are dividing on what happens after that. I'll keep an eye on it for you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
The philosophy here is a very simple one.
1120 KPNW.
News Radio, 1120 KPNW. Thanks for being with us this morning. Highway 58 still down to the one lane off and on all day long today, and this could be the case up and through next week. That's after, of course, that tanker crash over the weekend that took the life of the driver, spilling quite a bit of fuel and damaging the roadway. So ODOT and the rest of the crew out there with periodic closures of Highway 58 today. If you can avoid it, do. I mean, if you have to take 58, it's because there's no other way to go generally. So just know that there's going to be some slowdown there today, and just kind of factor that into your travel plans. So that's at milepost, milepost 20. So just know that's going to be the case at least, for a while. And when I say a while, I mean the next few days, at least according to ODOT, if you were listening to the news. Also, coming up at 7:25 this morning, gubernatorial Republican candidate Bud Pierce joining us on the Wake Up Call. We're going to talk about how things sort of went off the rails last Friday. And more news about that coming up, with even his communications director throwing up her hands, Stacy Kofka, who lives in Eugene, throwing up her hands and saying, no, not going to go there. All right, so the National Institute of Health just spent over $50,000 on an interesting study. They studied whether college students eat junk food when they drink. Is that a good use of money? Let's talk about it with government watchdog, CPA, former U.S. Congressman, and the first CPA ever elected to Congress, and God knows we need about 400 more like him, Joe Diagardi on the Wake Up Call. Joe, thanks for being with us this morning.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. I was the first practicing CPA. What does that mean? That I came out of an accounting firm. I didn't do anything in between. I just ran for office and got in. Today, I think you can count 10 accountants, one in the Senate. I think that's Mr. Enzi. And then you got 9 in the House. And of the 9, I think there are 5 of them that are professional certified public accountants. Not enough when you have 35 in the House and 100 in the Senate. And you've got people that are all spending and nobody's counting.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So this study, So college students eat junk food when they drink.
Yeah.
Really, What?
Yeah, common sense would tell you that you don't need a study like this to figure out what's going on with young people in universities and dorms, nervous about their exams. What are they going to do? Some of them drink, but then they reach out for something, and they don't have mama's fresh food. They usually have something in a plastic bag that we refer to as junk food. And what does it have? Probably a lot of salt, a lot of sugar. That adds to weight. And what does that do? It encourages you to have another drink. It's like a vicious cycle. But you know what? That's not going on just in dorms. That's an American problem. I mean, just look at Main Street. Look at the rear ends of people walking down Main Street, and you'll see the profits of the fast food industry being carried on the bodies of these people.
Yeah, but my question here is whether that $50,000 is well spent trying to figure out if drunk college students are eating crap.
No, I don't think it is. In fact, this is an indication that there may be much more of this. And what does that tell you? We need better accounting. We need independent audits. We need more watchdogs. We need elections that are fueled not just by money, but by integrity. People with values.
Wait a minute.
So that
Did you just refer to political integrity?
Well, you know what? They tell me that my foundation, Truth in Government, is an oxymoron as well. And I set that up when I left Congress in 1989 to continue my congressional agenda as a missionary. I don't get paid for that. And I was 76 a couple of weeks ago, and here I am on maybe you're the 12th radio show this morning I'm on. Why am I doing it? Because I'm trying to make people aware of the problem, because everybody seems to be asleep except for this election, and we don't know where it's going with this election, except that I know people want change. And that's why you're seeing such aberrational things in the polls and whatnot. Nothing's predictable anymore. But people are fed up with the traditional media. They're fed up with bureaucrats. They're certainly fed up with the government system that we have, and we know it's got to be changed because we're running out of money here. We can't keep borrowing money from others, especially just to pay the interest on the national debt, and we should be talking about interest. What do you get for interest? No roads, no education, and you're giving a lot of it to foreigners who are parking their money here.
All right.
I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Okay, so you've done this for years. My question to you would be, of our government budget, round ball it, what percentage of it is going to dumb studies like this and is just being essentially flushed down the toilet?
It depends how you count the budget. Believe it or not, the budget this year is $4 trillion. That's with a T. Now, that's the cash basis. If we use the right accounting system that measured unfunded liabilities, promises, and commitments that have to be paid in the future, you would begin to see a lot of this stuff was promised years ago, but is only being paid for today. This is the problem we got. We don't have the system used by the Securities and Exchange Commission called Generally Accepted Accounting Principles and outside auditors where we can trust the numbers. We got government accountants auditing government bureaucrats, and many of them are put there by politicians who don't want to see the system change, and they want to get reelected because they want to get that big pension at the end. I was there. I can tell you, I don't have that pension. I wasn't there 5 years. I was there 4 years, 2 terms. You got to be there. Don't listen to people who say, if you're a congressman one day, you get a full pension. That's a lot of nonsense. So I'm just telling you that we've got a system that has been poisoned by money. Electoral politics have been poisoned by money. And now you can see the situation with the bureaucrats that seem to think the more they spend, the better it is for them. And that's got to change.
How much in unfunded liabilities? I mean, we talk a lot about that on this show in regards to our PERS, which is the Public Employees Retirement System and the like. What kind of unfunded liabilities do the feds have? I mean, can you put a dollar amount on it?
Oh, my God. I can tell you because I monitor this. I wrote an article about it in the Association of Government Accountants Journal, the quarterly journal, called The National Debt, a Ticking Time Bomb Fueled by Interest, and I analyzed it. 70% of our budget is mandatory. You know what it is?
Right.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and military pensions and civil service pensions, and much of it is not in a trust account. Don't believe people when they say it's a trust account. No. Those trust accounts disappeared a long time ago. Everything is thrown into the general fund, and they grab that cash and use it for anything. So you've got a situation today where the unfunded liabilities and the commitments and the promises add up to probably $55 trillion. I read that financial statement that comes out of the Government Accountability Office. It's 250 pages, I think, this year. And you know where the most of those numbers are that I just gave you? In the footnotes. They don't even put them on the balance sheet so you can see them readily. So, we got a problem. And we need to start understanding that unless we get the right accounting, independent audits, not just for the Fed, but for the whole government, we're going to be slipping into a situation where we're not going to be able to recover.
$55 trillion in unfunded mandates? Unfunded liabilities?
55, yes. Unfunded. That's the pensions, Social Security, Medicaid, and civil service and military pensions, as I said. Now, what does that leave? That leaves 30% discretionary income. So all you're talking about when you're talking about the budget is discretionary income. That's the only thing you could change, because they don't want reforming entitlements. Everybody's afraid to do that. They don't want to reform the tax system. People are going to say, well, they're going to tag me and I won't get reelected if I'm asking for more revenue. So what we got is now 30% discretionary, and guess what half of that is? Defense. And people want to cut it. Now, I do want to cut waste in defense. I'll be the first one. But we got to be careful there, because you got China and Russia now adding, like President Reagan did to kill the evil empire, the Soviet Union. They're now building They're building submarines, aircraft carriers, and we've stopped doing that. So we may have a bigger problem than you think, and it may be time to change everything in government. And I hope that's what this election is all about.
All right, we'll leave it with that. Joe, pleasure having you on the show this morning. You take care.
Look at my Truth in Government website, and look at the book that I put out. I give it away, Unaccountable Congress. It doesn't add up.
Truth in Government, and is that a .org, .com?
Yeah, truthingovernment.org. You'll see all the articles that I print. As I say, I'm a missionary. I'm trying to wake up America.
All right. Hey, Joe, a pleasure talking to you this morning. We'd love to have you back on in the future, all right?
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, take care. 653 News Radio, 1120 KPNW. Well, I'm sure after listening to that and finding out we have $55 trillion in unfunded liabilities at the federal level, your carpet may be stained right now. So give Zero Res a call, and they will take care of it for you, regardless of the stain. We actually had a coworker whose elderly mom slipped and gashed her knee rather badly and tracked a lot of blood down a hallway, and it dried. And Zero Res was able to go out the next day and totally take care of it. Kim, like I said, her coworker was absolutely amazed at how well it turned out, and was really amazed at the fact that they got there when they said they were going to. Zero Res is all about working with your schedule and getting the job done when it comes to cleaning your carpets. And they do it with what's called empowered water. And next time we do one of these, I'll explain what empowered water is. But it's just water that's been run through an electrolysis process. There, I've described it. Anyway, call Zero Res. This month, you'll pay just $44 per room cleaned. If you mention me, Bill London, or KPNW, you're going to get 15% off all services. They're doing that as a part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they're going to be making a big donation to a local breast cancer awareness organization. You can find out more about that by going to their Facebook page, Zero Res. But give them a call, 541-9880. That's 541-988-ZERO. And tell them that short, swarthy guy at KPNW said to call. Please. Thank you.
Cold weather is coming. Are you prepared? Ductless heat pumps can save you up to 50% on your heating costs. This is Rick Gregg from the Heat Pump Store in Eugene. Let me and my local team of ductless heating experts save you money, keep you comfortable, and get you the most utility rebates and tax credits available. Call 541-632-3357. That's 632-3357. Or visit theheatpumpstore.com.
They got me pump, 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 the Heat Pump Store.
CCB 177-229.
Every election year, you hear lots of promises and few guarantees. Lars Larson here to tell you about one guarantee you have right here in Eugene and Lane County. Jeremy Parmenter will sell your home. That's right. Jeremy guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it. And Jeremy will sell your home fast. Darbin and Ruby wanted to sell their home and move out of the country. They didn't need the extra stress that comes with selling their home, so they called Jeremy Parmenter. He sold their home in less than 30 days, right on schedule, and got them $10,000 more than any house in that neighborhood. Why would you think of working with any other agent in Eugene or Lane County? And there's no risk. If you want out of the contract, you're out. Call the only agent I recommend in Eugene. Call Jeremy Parmenter at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. Online, OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com. That's OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com.
News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute.
Last time I suggested that bonds are in bubble territory and actually quite risky if interest rates go up, even a little. The sensitivity of bond prices to changes in interest rates is called duration. And all you really need to know about it is that the more time before your bonds mature and the lower the nominal interest rate, called the coupon, the greater the duration. Higher duration equals higher risk. Bond math is complicated, but here's a useful rule of thumb. For each 1% interest rates rise, the market value of your treasury bond will decline by a percentage that's about equal to its duration. For example, at a yield of 1.6%, the U.S. 10-year note has a duration of about 9. So if interest rates go up 1% to 2.6, the bond's market price will fall by about 9%, or a little bit more than 5.5 years of interest payments. If rates go up 2%, the price decline will be about 18%. Here's the nugget. A 30-year Treasury bond with a 2.5% coupon has a duration of about 20. So if rates go up 1%, it will lose 20% of its value. Rates up 2%, price down 40%. And you thought stocks were risky. More soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Over 300,000 veterans have received the care and benefits they've earned because Paralyzed Veterans of America was there. If you need help with a claim or just navigating the system, contact us at pva.org.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are edging higher as investors weigh hawkish comments from Federal Reserve officials against muted prospects for growth in the world's largest economy. Concerns over European banks have eased. Right now, the Dow is up 33 points, or almost 0.2% at 18,286. The S&P 500 is up 3 points, or just over 0.1% at 2164. And the Nasdaq is up 16 points, or about 0.3% at 5317. NYMEX crude is higher right now, up just over 0.3% at $48.97 a barrel. Shares of Darden restaurants are cooking up gains this morning. They're up about 3%. The owner of Olive Garden saw a quarterly profit that topped analyst estimates, helped by higher sales at the Italian restaurant chain. This week, investors will watch for some economic reports on services industries, factory orders, and monthly payrolls for further clues on the path of interest rates. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. It's not just raining, it's pouring in Haiti. Some areas could get 3 feet of rain as Hurricane Matthew hammers the southwest coast, where many live in huts or shacks. Some refuse to evacuate or try to seek shelter too late. The storm and its 145-mile-an-hour wind could hit Cuba and the Bahamas next, then the U.S. Fox's Evan Brown tracking it live in Miami.
Yeah, Dave, South Florida is realizing a very powerful hurricane is coming. Carlos Jimenez is the mayor of Miami-Dade County.
You should be prepared for the eventuality of a hurricane like we did in June. Have your 3 days of food, have 3 days of water.
Yeah, when the next Hurricane Center advisory is released at 11, it is expected to place much of Florida's Atlantic coast under a hurricane watch. Florida's Governor Rick Scott has already declared a state of emergency. He's now asking people to pray. Dave.
And the vice presidential candidates take center stage tonight. Tim Kaine and Mike Pence's only debate.
There are going to be 9 topics, but nobody has told Pence or Kaine what any of the 9 are. We know that Senator Kaine went on down to North Carolina last Thursday and stayed through the weekend to prepare for tonight. And since he's apparently so passionate about policy, he used big binders of information the campaign put together for him to study.
Fox's Peter Doocy in Farmville, Virginia.
As for Pence, he enlisted Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker to stand in and pretend he was Tim Kaine for some mock debates.
Syrian activists report more deadly government attacks shelling rebel-held areas of Aleppo as Secretary of State John Kerry criticizes Russia the day after the U.S. cut off talks with Moscow.
Together, the Syrian regime and Russia seem to have rejected diplomacy and furtherance of trying to pursue a military victory.
Tennis star Maria Sharapova gets a bit of a reprieve. The Court of Arbitration for Sport has reduced her 2-year doping ban to 15 months. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Measure 97 would impose $6 billion in new taxes on the sales of goods and services in Oregon, the largest tax increase in Oregon history.
Promoters of 97 claim this tax would only affect big corporations.
But the state of Oregon's own study and independent fact checks by nonpartisan organizations like the Tax Foundation show that claim is false.
That's because 97 would tax the sales of businesses that provide most goods and services in Oregon, not their profits.
So the costs would be passed on to consumers and businesses of all sizes through higher prices for everything from food, gas, and electricity to medicine and health care.
The Oregonian newspaper checked the facts and called Measure 97 a hidden sales tax on every person in Oregon.
The Eugene Register-Guard warned that the politicians could do anything they please with the money.
The Bend Bulletin called it sneaky.
The Portland Tribune said 97 is based on deception.
Check the facts yourself and vote no on Measure 97's costly and deceptive tax on sales.
Paid for by Defeat the Tax on Oregon Sales.
Saying political discontent threatens the economy, the International Monetary Fund is downgrading its forecast for U.S. economic growth to 1.6% this year, down from July's prediction of 2.2%. Stocks are up in the first half hour of trading on Wall Street, where Fox Business Network's Nicole Pedalides is live.
Right now, we're seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 45 points at 18,299. The Nasdaq gaining 17. That's 1/3%. The S&P 500 1/10% to the upside, up just 2 points. We're seeing some strength in technology and consumer stocks, and the laggards would be utilities and telecom. Darden gaining better quarter than expected. That's the parent of Olive Garden, and a good outlook. Delta also a winner, and we're seeing all the airlines to the upside, and we're seeing also Microsoft gaining. Don't forget, Friday's the monthly jobs report. Dave.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil is up a little bit, near $49 a barrel now, up a dime today. Gas is up a tiny fraction. AAA's national average remains below $2.23 a gallon. Another financial firm is under scrutiny.
The top securities regulator in Massachusetts charges Morgan Stanley with dishonest and unethical conduct for pushing its brokers to sell loans to clients. This just 1 month after regulators fined Wells Fargo $185 million for illegally opening customer accounts. Massachusetts Secretary of Commonwealth alleges a unit of Morgan Stanley ran high-pressure sales contests that allowed brokers to earn thousands of dollars for selling security-based loans. Morgan Stanley claims the charges have no merit and that its brokers discuss the products with each client. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
They lost their first quarterback and star running back to injuries, but the Minnesota Vikings keep rolling.
Bradford steps into a throw. Caught. Touchdown, Kyle Rudolph.
The Vikings beat the Giants 24-10 on ESPN as Minnesota joins Denver as the only 4-0 teams in the NFL. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, good morning to you. Welcome in. Hour number 2 of a wake-up call for a Tuesday, the first Tuesday in October. October 4, 2016. Clouds and rain off and on throughout the cloud's going to be pretty consistent. The rain off and on, a 50% chance, moving up to an 80% chance overnight. Currently 52 degrees and dark and ominous out there. 1120 KPNW. If you're coming in 58, just know that, and it's going to be there for a while, talking about milepost 20, the investigation going on 15 miles west of Oak Ridge, and the cleanup. We've got flaggers out there, emergency personnel, if you see hazmat. It was a tanker accident, a fatality a couple days ago, and they're still there 15 miles west of Oak Ridge on Highway 58. Everything else seems to be moving. If you should see the contrary and want to discuss it, come on in. A couple of different ways you can get in with the radio station. 1120kpnw at gmail.com, or you can always call it in 541-485-KPNW. Bud Pierce, gubernatorial candidate, in minutes right here on the Wake Up Call and News 2.
Yeah, we'll have these stories coming up. We will have, for instance, the latest in the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge trial, which continues not only continued yesterday, but goes on through today and probably at least the next week. Ammon expected to be on the stand. We'll take a look at that. Also, we'll follow up on that tanker truck crash and what it could mean for commuters on Highway 58. Also, speaking of gubernatorial candidate Bud Pierce, his communications director furious over what he said on Friday dealing with women and abuse, has resigned. She actually happens to be a former Eugene reporter. We'll have Bud on this morning. We'll tell you the story as well. It's all coming up as a part of news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
News time 7:07.
True taco facts from Burrito Amigos. Last year, we as Americans chowed down on 4.5 billion tacos. If you laid those tacos end to end, a favorite American pastime, by the way, they'd stretch 490,000 miles, essentially to the moon and back, which is a favorite American measurement of distance. If you took all the tacos folks ate at Burrito Amigos last year, they'd get your round trip from Eugene to Vancouver, unless the traffic was bad and you had to go 205. Then you would only get back to the Brownsville exit. A lot of those tacos were Burrito Amigos Baja fish tacos with real cod, cabbage, cilantro, and Sandy's Secret Baja sauce. A few miles were also Chili Verde soft tacos with pork cooked in spicy green salsa. And you could probably get to Salem with all the yummy tacos Burrito Amigos fans noshed on. Yams, cabbage, beans, pumpkin seeds, and a spicy avocado sauce. They're delicious whether you're a vegetarian or not. Burrito Amigos tacos. They're not just for measuring anymore. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, and I like my tacos by the yard.
If you are looking for your next motorhome, trailer, fifth wheel, or toy hauler, now is a great time to shop at the RV Corral. It's the end of summer sale on all new inventory. Too many prices to list. Visit our website at rvcorral.com or stop by and take a look in person to view the lowest prices of the year. Low prices and low cost financing with our end of summer closeout sale give you the best of everything. A mile south of the Beltline on Highway 99, RV Corral or rvcorral.com.
You're independent and want to stay that way, but you'd like some friendship and security. Consider Eugene's elegant yet affordable retirement living, Turpinning Terrace. At Turpinning Terrace, friendships grow through activities, the all-day restaurant-style dining, and the warm community environment. The large studio, one-bedroom, and two-bedroom apartments are the best value in Eugene. They have a secure parking garage and are near excellent retail stores. Call for a free tour and lunch, 689-0619. Turpinning Terrace, a tremendous time of life.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state.
This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. The spokeswoman for Republican gubernatorial candidate Bud Pierce has resigned because of a comment Pierce made during a debate about the abuse of women. Stacey Kafka, who lives in Eugene, said she quit as communications director for Pierce's campaign a couple of hours after Pierce had said that successful women aren't as susceptible to domestic abuse and sexual violence as those on lower economic rungs. His remark drew boos from the audience at the debate at the Portland City Club. Kafka said that as a former low-paid TV reporter, she did not feel she was more prone to being targeted for abuse than highly paid women. She further says she fundamentally didn't agree with what was said about domestic violence. She said that it's not political, it's a moral issue. Kafka stated that as a woman, she was offended by what was said and knew a lot of other women would be offended as well. Pierce, a Salem oncologist, said in a statement after the debate that any woman, regardless of economic status, can be subject to domestic violence and sexual abuse. Sexual and physical abuse is morally wrong, against the law, and must be opposed with all efforts. He also apologized to Brown, who in the debate disclosed she'd been the victim of domestic violence, and anyone else who may have taken his comments the wrong way. Kevin W. Smith, a 62-year-old man from Lakeview, identified as the man who lost his life after the truck he was driving overturned on Highway 58 Saturday night and caught fire.
The vehicle combination veered off the right shoulder, causing a trailer to overturn and ignite on fire.
The vehicle combination became fully engulfed in flames, and information indicates that Smith was unable to exit the vehicle.
Kyle Hovey of the Oregon State Police says Highway 58 is still down to one lane at milepost 20. Today, crews are cleaning up the debris and the fuel left behind. The truck was carrying 47,000 gallons of gasoline and 6,000 gallons of diesel. Most of that fuel went up in flames when the truck crashed, but some of the fuel leaked onto the side of the road. You couple that with the physical damage to the road, and ODOT is keeping busy.
We're looking at an extended lane closure probably into next week, but we will know more on Wednesday as they get more of the contaminated dirt removed.
Angela Beers-Seidel of ODOT confirms that DEQ and ODOT are tackling the road repair. The good news is that nearby Lookout Point Lake has been checked multiple times, and there are no signs that the fuel has contaminated the waters there. The Lane County Assessment and Taxation Office begins reappraising more than 3,100 residential properties in West Eugene Springfield this month. The reappraisals include a property inspection to confirm the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. The appraiser will also ask residents to confirm square footage and answer basic questions about home condition, features, and improvements. Lane County is required to reappraise areas where property values are unusually varied, which is an indicator of unreliable or outdated appraisal data. Those neighborhoods were last appraised more than 20 years ago. Reappraisal, they say, will help ensure all homes in the neighborhoods are accurately valued, not just those that have sold recently. Read that as they want to make sure that they can squeeze every tax dollar out of those properties they can. Appraisers will also begin reappraising more than 120 commercial manufactured home parks across Lane County. Well, the daughter of the late University of Oregon president, Dave Frohnmeyer, died over the weekend. Amy Frohnmeyer Wynn had a rare blood disorder, Fanconi anemia, which also caused the death of her two sisters. She was only 29. The disease left her more susceptible to illnesses, and a spokesperson for the Fanconi Anemia Research Fund says she died of pneumonia. Amy served as a board member for the fund, which was started by her father in 1989. The Frohnmeyers had 5 children in all. Amy is survived by her mother, Lynn, and brothers Jonathan and Mark. The organizer, the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge occupation, is expected to testify today at his trial in Portland. Brad Ford has more.
Ammon Bundy's testimony was delayed because the judge asked his attorney to reduce the amount of video and photos to be used during testimony. Bundy's wife, Lisa, is there to watch him testify. She says his point will be it was a constitutional demonstration.
That we as Americans individually have our rights, our God-given rights, and that's all we were trying to do.
Harney County Sheriff Dave Ward testified that he did not misrepresent the amount of support there was to end the occupation. Ward testified that Bundy posted lies on social media, which the sheriff says caused him to lose trust in Bundy. The judge did toss the firearms charge against defendant Shauna Cox because prosecutors lacked evidence for that charge. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Clown sightings have now spread to Oregon following reports of scary clowns in South Carolina and elsewhere around the country. On Friday, 20-year-old Crystal Foster was driving near O'Brien Square in Portland when a man in a silver and black clown mask approached her car. Foster said the clown banged on her windows and tried to open her door before she drove away and called police. Last Wednesday, a woman in Redmond reported seeing a person wearing a creepy clown mask with blue-painted teeth. There have been reports of clown sightings in at least 10 states. The Portland Trailblazers will demonstrate during the national anthem before games this year. Damian Lillard says they all agreed to form a circle to show support for each other and civil rights equality.
I'm a proud American, but the reason behind the protesting, I share that same belief. I share that same feeling, being an African American. And obviously every other guy on this team shares that belief as well.
The Blazers have normally stood in a straight line during the national anthem. The movement was started by San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the anthem. The Blazers played their first preseason game against Utah last night. Oregon State Police say they've matched DNA from more than 24 backlogged sexual assault kits to DNA in a national database. Results have come back on several hundred rape kits sent to Salt Lake City for testing, including 33 that matched the national database DNA profiles. Oregon State Police Captain and former Lane County DA Alex Gardner says the biological samples can be tested against suspected attackers or used to back up court testimony. Oregon State Police sent several hundred of the untested kits to Utah after the state passed legislation meant to speed up the testing. When Melissa's Law was passed 6 years ago, nearly 5,000 untested kits were stored around the state, including about 200 untested kits in Eugene and Springfield. Authorities are still struggling to process thousands of rape kits. New rape kits are streaming in at the same time police are trying to sort through the backlog. Authorities say it's not clear which kits should be prioritized. Officials say 6 analysts have been hired. At least 3 positions are still unfilled, and new forensic analysts need extensive training requiring a veteran analyst to be pulled off of current cases. A drug being studied at OHSU offers new hope for patients with eczema. Brad Ford has that story.
A new drug is turning out to be very effective in treatment of atopic eczema. It's one of the more common types. Dr. John Hannafin says people involved in the study have severe forms of atopic dermatitis.
They have done just beautifully. About 80% of them. I mean, there's some that don't respond.
The drug is a manufactured antibody that blocks abnormal immune system responses. It has been tested in nearly 1,400 adults.
It's only been in adults. We haven't been able to treat any children.
Dr. Hannafin says the results of their study were published in the New England Journal of Medicine. If the tests continue to show promise, he thinks it might become an available drug in a year and a half. Brad Ford, KPNW.
The U.S. Geological Survey says there was a minor earthquake last night just outside of Woodburn. The agency says the 3.1 trembler struck at about 9:30 last night with an epicenter about 3 miles northwest of Woodburn. The agency reported the quake was 14 miles deep. No damage was reported. Not all that far away from the so-called spring break quake that hit Oregon with a 5.6 magnitude trembler back in the early 90s. Authorities say a fisherman found human bones along the bank of the Umpqua River near the Oregon coast Saturday. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says the man's boat broke down in Gardner. He was on shore, began gathering firewood when he found the bones. It was the Sheriff's Office that confirmed the skeletonized remains were human. The unidentified remains are going to be taken to the state medical examiner's office to be examined and processed for ID. After brewing in Oregon for 4 years, Falling Sky Brewing has bottled one of its beers for the first time. The craft brewer bottled 3,600 22-ounce bottles of retrograde red with the help of a mobile bottling company from Portland.
Whole Foods approached us about, collaborating on a beer. And at first we were just going to give them kegs, and then they started talking about potentially how much beer they might, be willing to commit to buying if we did bottle. And we're friends with some mobile bottling companies. And so we thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to kind of test the waters.
Co-owner Jason Carrera says Falling Sky is selling the bottled beer at its pub on Oak Alley and its Poorhouse and Delicatessen on Blair. The new Whole Foods market in Eugene, as well as 5 other Whole Foods stores in Portland, are selling the bottled beer for $5.99 a bottle. And if it takes off, well, the Falling Sky owners say cashing out to the highest bidder is not necessarily in the cards.
Not a chance, and you can definitely quote me on that. And my business partner, Rob, we're very dedicated to what we do. We love what we do.
Go Falling Sky. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Well, if you love sports, this is a great part of the year if you have every major sport in action. NBA part of the pie, the Portland Trailblazers opened up their preseason season with a win over the Utah Jazz, 98-89. Damian Lillard with 16. To the football part of the sports page, Monday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings, well, they're 4-0. Coach Mike Zimmer has them flying on defense and not nicking themselves up on offense. Minnesota QB Sam Bradford threw for 1 more yard than Eli Manning, 262 to 261. The difference, he threw for a touchdown while Eli threw for an interception. Vikings win in prime time, 24-10 over the Giants. Well, it is fall, so college football, a staple, and the Oregon Ducks football team going to find defending number 10 Washington this weekend even harder. More difficult. The services of Johnny Reagan lost their leading tackler out with a serious leg injury. Golf, the Ryder Cup happened over the weekend, and the Nike Invitational at Colonial Country Club is going on right now. Oregon's Wyndham Clark is a second-round leader after a 4-under 66. He's up there with Stanford's Maverick McNeely. And if you're looking for something to do on Friday afternoon, check out the annual alumni baseball game happening at PK Friday, 3:30. It is free. Rockies pitcher Tyler Anderson will be on hand for the alums. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Don't get sold. Get educated by a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle in Eugene on Franklin across from Market of Choice. One of those nutritionists, Tom, coming in the 8 o'clock hour. News time, 7:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we do have mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. And we are tracking light showers off and on across the region. The storm system from the weekend has pulled away along the U.S.-Canadian border, but it's been replaced by another cold front and another approaching storm system. That means an 80 to 90% chance of showers off and on throughout today, as well as into tomorrow. This afternoon, the mostly cloudy skies will continue. Highs will only climb into the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will stay southwest at 5 to 10, and we're looking at a full half an inch of showers off and on today with another half inch tomorrow. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day and you can stay out of the light rain.
You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
When you need foundation repairs, turn to the foundation experts at Ramjack West. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Serving Oregon and Washington. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. Robert Sinclair, educator and speaker, shared this idea at a leadership conference. We really don't learn anything from our experience. We only learn from reflecting on that experience. Well, interesting idea, isn't it? Most of us have been told our entire lives we learned from experience. But what I think Sinclair really meant was that when we take some time to think and reflect, then the real learning takes place. So take some time today and think about what you've learned from reflecting on your life experiences. I think you'll find you've learned a lot more than you thought you did. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
Ladies and gents, it's showtime at the Lane County Home Improvement Show. Find only ideas, products, and experts to transform your home and yard. Discover daring kitchen and bath remodels, stunning landscapes, and amazing innovations. Meet trusted home and garden experts. Get tailgating with America's favorite grilling buddies, Mad Dog and Merrill. Learn from our garden gurus. Experience Pumpkin Palooza. Discover what's new at the show Friday, October 7th through Sunday, October 9th at the fairgrounds. Admission is free. EugeneHomeshow.com. At this week's show, let us entertain you. Enjoy tailgating and grilling with America's grilling buddies, Mad Dog and Merrill. On Saturday, Pumpkin Palooza returns with world-famous giant pumpkin carver Scott Cully. Get gardening with John Fisher. Save with Only Here, Only Now show specials on spas and stoves. Don't miss the antique sale and register to win valuable prizes sponsored by KEZI 9. Admission is free. Plan your visit around 40 home and garden seminars online at EugeneHomeshow.com.
Measure 97 would impose $6 billion in new taxes on the sales of goods and services in Oregon, the largest tax increase in Oregon history.
Promoters of 97 claim this tax would only affect big corporations.
But the state of Oregon's own study and independent fact checks by nonpartisan organizations like the Tax Foundation show that claim is false.
That's because 97 would tax the sales of businesses that provide most goods and services in Oregon, not their profits.
So the costs would be passed on to consumers and businesses of all sizes through higher prices for everything from food, gas, and electricity to medicine and health care.
The Oregonian newspaper checked the facts and called Measure 97 a hidden sales tax on every person in Oregon.
The Eugene Register Guard warned that the politicians could do anything they please with the money.
The Bend Bulletin called it sneaky.
The Portland Tribune said 97 is based on deception.
Check the facts yourself and vote no on Measure 97's costly and deceptive tax on sales.
Paid for by Defeat the Tax on Oregon Sales.
Batteries Plus Bulbs is your one-stop shop for all your home and business lighting needs. Visit Batteries Plus Bulbs in Eugene and now open in Corvallis on 9th Street next to the grocery outlet, or batteriesplus.com to see our full selection of energy-efficient lighting, including LEDs.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
725 News Radio, 1120 KPNW on a rainy start to a Tuesday. Joining us on the wake-up call, look who's here. Republican gubernatorial candidate Bud Pierce on the KPNW Celebrity Hotline. Hey, Doc. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Bill, I'm always happy to be on with you. Thanks for having me.
Yep, our pleasure. You've got a debate coming up this Thursday. It's going to be in Eugene, Churchill High School, right?
Very exciting. People can show up. It's sponsored by OPB. It will be me and the governor and Cliff Thompson, the independent candidate. I believe the stadium, the gym holds about 500 people. People can come in and watch politics in action. And I think hopefully we'll, again, debate the issues vigorously and make people happy that they spent their time with us.
What time does the debate start?
I believe it starts at 7 o'clock, actually, the actual time of starting. And then the doors open probably 6:30, something in that range.
All right. Let's just get right to the elephant in the room.
Sure.
At the last debate on Friday, and I'll play the audio clip here, you said this.
A woman that has great education and training and a great job is not susceptible to this kind of abuse by men, women, or anyone.
So that wasn't exactly a wise thing to say.
Well, it was wrong. You know, the whole statement is wrong. And, you know, you're in a debate. It's pretty hostile there. I think 99% of the people were against me. They just booed me on when we were talking about Donald Trump. And what the intent of my thinking was when you talk about economic domestic violence is that you can't, anybody can be abused, richest, poorest, strongest, weakest, but it's clear that all forms of violence are at a higher level and people are poor, and that if we can raise poverty, we can't eliminate abuse and violence against women and people, but people do better. That was kind of the gist of where I was going, and obviously, not only did I not say that, what I said came out in a horrid way, and all I can do is apologize. I've been, right away on Friday night, we said, oh my God, what do we do here? Apologize. I've had some scathing comments online that I've, said I deserve it. I actually support a local shelter as well as Liberty House, and they reached out to me and said, Bud, we know that your heart's in the right place, so we're going to do a little touring there and talk to survivors of domestic abuse. And really, what I would say is this also is I've had the great fortune in my life to be in a situation from a family point of view, my own family, where I grew up, mom and dad, no domestic violence. My 35-year marriage with my wife, no domestic violence. The last 30 years, I've helped to create an oncology practice where there's no sexual harassment. Women are treated as equals. They basically run it. So that's kind of been my focus, and I have to say that I'm horrified at what came out. That's why people don't like to run for politics, I think, is you can say some really stupid things and the world gets to hear it, and all you can do is apologize, try to make amends, and move on. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is the reality of politics, and it's sometimes very difficult.
Did you try to explain that to Stacy Kafka, your communications director, before she resigned because of those comments?
She didn't. Actually, my staff reached out to her after she let us know she was upset and wanted to resign. There was discussion over the weekend, and I don't blame her one iota. She did a great job for our campaign. We wish she was still with our campaign. Have the highest regards for her. If someone was to ask me in the future, what do you think about her, I'd say hire her in a minute. She's a great employee. This obviously upset her greatly. So I don't have any one iota of animosity against her. This is, people get upset. I do find it. Let me just say one thing: is
Sure.
I have studied up on this a lot and reaching out a lot because again, this wasn't right there in front of my face, and I found that Counter In report that was published recently that talked about the status of women in Oregon, and this is where this data comes from. And actually, I hadn't read this. I wasn't really aware of this data, but there's 1 million Oregon women that have suffered from sexual or domestic abuse. Poverty rates women of color twice as high as white women. Oregon is one of the least affordable, states for child care. It costs much for a year of child care as a university. Lots of women in Oregon lack access to reproductive health. Oregon women earn 53 to 83 cents for every dollar earned by men. Oregon women white men, Oregon women have the highest rates of depression and alcohol use in the nation. We have like 1 out of our public companies out of 39 have a CEO that's a female. So clearly, over the decades, we have created a society where Oregon women are not treated fairly, and that's right there in my face right now, and I can see that. It's odd to me because I know it, but somehow when you work in a business, in a practice where women are your equals, women get paid the same and all that, it's just not there in front of my face. Obviously, I see it now. It's been hammered into my head and into my heart. And if people give me a chance and allow me to be elected, I want to change this around. I'm not satisfied to have 20 years from now a report that says the same thing. If I get a chance to be elected, I am committed to changing the fate of women in Oregon so we don't have all these bad statistics, and that's how I would answer that. So that's all I can say. I completely I gave a horrible answer. It's inaccurate. It could have hurt people. I feel terrible about that. But again, the issue that can be repaired going forward is actually change the lives of women so they have a better life and take on these 8 issues that were brought up in the Counter In survey and actually try to resolve them and make women's lives better. And that's all I can say. I mean, this is politics.
Dr. Bud Pierce joining us on the Wake Up Call, Republican gubernatorial candidate. This comes to us from, we have a young man who's 13 years old who comes in. His name is Tommy. Well, we used to call him Tommy the 12-year-old. Now he's the artist formerly known as Tommy the 12-year-old. And he has a question for you, and it is this. In the debate tonight, is there anything that Mike Pence can say that will help you support Donald Trump?
I have not endorsed Donald Trump, as you know, and I've stepped back from that. I did accept Donald Trump as our candidate after the election. There's one thing that Mike Pence can say. I'm going to continue to weigh all the information more on the whole campaign tone and the way a campaign rolls out, and when I watch Mr. Trump debate and such. But again, we're seeing 2 very flawed candidates lacking admirability on either side, and that's what the American public is what we have right now. So I think there's not one thing; it's a weight of the whole campaign. And I think when all of us sit down to mark our ballots, that's what we're really looking at and I think it's going to come down in many ways to which candidate's flaws offend you most. And also, who do you think has the best policy to move America forward? And I think that's what we're all going to struggle with as Americans, and that's why this is such a hard election from a presidential point of view. And I think the vice president is important. Do you believe that there's someone who could fill in if the president, died? It's not the vice president convincing you about voting for president, at least not from my point of view.
So that's a no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he couldn't. That's a no.
Okay, that's fair. It's interesting because a lot of the emails that we've received after we had you on last time and we asked you about Trump, a lot of the emails and the ones that are coming in this morning all ask basically that same thing. Here's an excerpt from one of them. Bud's running as a Republican. Donald Trump is who the Republicans overwhelmingly voted for to be our next president. By not backing Trump, Bud is telling us he doesn't listen to the people at all. Go ahead and respond to that.
Yeah, we don't have a slate in America. This isn't a European country or other countries where you have a unified ticket and you're voting for that. What I saw in the primary election and the decision of the Republicans, I was there. I said I endorsed Donald Trump as the presidential candidate picked by Republicans, and then as the campaign evolved, Again, lots of negatives on both sides, and the intensity of negatives on both sides led me to come out with a statement that I will not vote for Hillary Clinton. I think she's untrustworthy. She should not be president of the United States. I will not vote for a third-party candidate because it's a waste of a vote. And I will evaluate the campaigns going forward and make my decision when I have my ballot in front of me. And so that pretty much gives you the idea what my decision is going to be. So that's kind of where I stand. And I think, again, the way the campaigns have been waged at the presidential level and the candidates and their admirability is affecting all of us. And again, I understand people's feeling on the Republican side. I feel the same discomfort. But again, this is not where we just say you vote Republican or Democrat and the slate of candidates that goes that way. I do think the candidates have a responsibility to make their case for every elected office and to compel you to vote for them. And even if you are a candidate within that party, then you have to look at every individual and every campaign and come up with a true decision. And you have to be true to yourself, and you have to be true to the people, and that's where I stand right now.
Let's completely change the subject now.
Okay.
You've been traveling all around the state for the last several months.
Yeah.
Is there any one overarching theme, question, or concern that you are asked about as you go to these town halls, these different meetings, these forums? I mean, is there any one thing that stands above the rest of them that is a concern for the average working man and woman here in the state of Oregon?
Economics. And yesterday I flew into Baker City and I flew into Burns and actually met with over 20 people in Burns, and the desperation to have an economy and to see how they're stymied and cannot develop a natural resource-based economy, and they know they can, and how they're blocked. And they really have an incredible antagonism to the federal government because that's where the main block is, but they don't feel very good about the state government. And then when you talk to Oregonians in the Central Valley, and they're not the connected people that have the special jobs or especially connected to government, those are the people that it's the economics. It's the uncertainty. It's a paycheck to paycheck. It's how do I put away money for my kids' school? How do I afford their education if they can get to higher education? It really is the bread and butter issues, and that's the overwhelming issue that people are grappling with. And how do they have a present and how they have a future?
It seems we live in an entitled society. How difficult is it to run as a fiscal conservative when you have on the other side the Democrats who are more than willing to say, look, if you vote for me, we're going to give you free college education, we're going to give you free daycare, we're going to give you free, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
In an entitled society, are fiscal conservative Republicans doomed to always be second place in a state like Oregon?
No, I think we keep telling our message, and just like we tell our message that a 10 to 12% increase in the state budget from one biennium to the next in the general fund should be enough to fund ongoing operations. They don't need 15+%. And the reality is that you can't keep borrowing your way to prosperity, and you also can't keep taxing the people to prosperity. And that's what really has the citizenry roiled. And again, the Democrats are desperate to hang on. Their way of doing this has been to not have fiscal discipline, to continue to make promises that can't be met. And frankly, there was a lot of reserve built up in the past, and I would just do the same as our road system. Our road system was primarily built in the 50s, 60s, into the 70s, then we quit building it. And actually, the capacity was so great, it actually lasted until now. But now we have reached saturation and gridlock, especially in the Portland metro area, and every car you put on there is more time spent. And so at some point, people will say, despite all efforts of the opposition and what the enticement of being promised things that can't be kept, they'll say, I really can't go this way, and I'm going to give someone a new try. Okay. And the Republicans need to keep running on that, and we're going to get our day. We're going to have our chance, and let's stay true, because when our chance to govern comes, we'll do a great job, and then we'll get hold of the state again. So we never give up. Never.
Okay. Final question: what's your feelings about the Orgo program, tax by the mile program?
Oh, I don't like that program at all. It's interesting. The gas tax is actually increasing every year. They're worried that by 2020 it might not increase further because of mileage and decrease in driving. The problem with a lot of the gas tax, in some cases more than half of it's going to non-road uses. So, and if you believe that you should incentivize people with high mileage cars and with other carbon-producing vehicles, will incentivize it. Give them a break, and that's okay. So I think I don't really want to go that way. And the whole argument that when people visit the state, they can pay taxes by buying gas. So I am not in favor of that. I think that's a boondoggle, and it's not going to yield anything. And at best, it's going to tax us more with a more complex system, and we need to be taxed less.
Okay, I lied. Another email came in, and I wanted to ask you about this. Would you encourage or discourage the budding marijuana industry, pun intended?
I think we let the law play out, and the Oregon citizens clearly want to have access to marijuana, but I am a stickler on wanting real scientific research. I don't think we should promote marijuana as any kind of a medical treatment without knowing that it actually is a treatment, and then we need to have real research, and we know how to do that. And we need to start really studying the dangers of the drug, because there are going to be dangers. The question is how dangerous, and is it, what is the concern, and how does it affect children? So lots of research should be done. In the meantime, we have a plan in place to roll it out into the different counties, and I think that plan is working relatively well. So but we need to research. That's what you're going to hear from me. We need to know how it works, what it works, and what the dangers are.
All right. So, Bud, you're going to be here in Eugene on Thursday, Churchill High School. The debate will start at 7 o'clock, about 500 seats available. So, if you want to go, you need to get there early. Love having you on the show, and would love to have you on, like we said before, in the studio. And the artist formerly known as Tommy the 12-year-old really wants to meet you. So
we will make it happen, and I so appreciate you having me on. And as you can see, I will answer the hard questions truthfully, because really that's what I'm about. I'm a doctor that tries to solve problems, to try to be truthful. I've had the experience of having to tell patients that I believe are their family members, that I believe that if I'd done something different in medicine, that maybe their family member would be alive, and I've said that to people. And it's brutally hard, but you have to face facts with truth. And if I'm elected governor, I'll always do that.
All right. Bud, good luck to you. Good luck on the next upcoming debate, the 3rd of 5, and we look forward to having you back on the show.
Thank you very much.
Take care. That is Dr. Bud Pierce, the Republican gubernatorial candidate for the state of Oregon, and we'll be back with more coming up, and we'll be talking health next here on the Wake Up Call.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed this Tuesday. Investors are assessing the odds of the Federal Reserve, thinking the economy is strong enough to withstand an interest rate hike this year, while concerns over European banks eased a bit. Darden Restaurants rising after posting quarterly profit that topped analyst estimates, helped by rising sales at Olive Garden. Olive Garden has rolled out a back-to-basics menu and revamped its kitchen operations. Major oil and gas producers will extend their efforts to recover from a 2-year downturn in 2017. Moody's says rising oil prices and lower costs provide steady but slow improvement to their profitability. Americans are still buying the same vehicles year after year. The top 11 best-selling models this year accounted for roughly 1 out of every 4 vehicles that rolled out of the dealerships. But these are the fastest-selling cars in America. The Ford F-150 is number 1. One truck is sold every 40 seconds, while number 2 is the Chevy Silverado, which flies out the door every 55 seconds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Dan's Outdoors in Springfield focuses on steelhead, salmon, trout, and kokanee. So if you're serious about fishing, Dan's Outdoors is the place. They feature live bait like sand shrimp, worms, and even custom cured roe. They even have blue and green label herring, sardines, and anchovies. Dan's also carries a full line of clear drift products, all kokanee kid gear, and much more. You can even get your fishing game licenses, rod and reel repair, line spooling, and pre-tied leaders. Check out Dan's Outdoors, 2787 Olympic Street, Suite 6, from 9 to 6 weekdays, 9 to 4 on Saturday, and on Facebook, Dan's with a Z.
Shift into savings at your local Kubota dealer. Right now, you can get the Subcompact BX and the Compact B or L Series, or the bigger MX Special Utility Tractor with a low down payment, 0% APR for 84 months, and a full 6-year limited powertrain warranty. See your participating Kubota dealer by December 31st. Now through December 31st, 2016. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about costs and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor, locally owned for 30 years, just a mile and a half past the Beltline on Highway 99.
Another true story from Shelton Turnbull Green Solutions Printing.
I need to get uniforms for the soccer team, stat.
That's easy. Just call Shelton Turnbull. They customized everything for Phillips Soccer Club last spring.
Oh yeah, didn't they also do a custom pop-up tent and custom towels for them too?
Yeah, they sure did.
Get your team, event, or business personalized with apparel and promotional products from Shelton Turnbull. For over 90 years in the Willamette Valley, Shelton Turnbull is your quick, affordable, one-stop shop for everything print. Look for them online at stprint.com.
Reminder to Remington rifle owners. Owners of certain Remington rifles should take notice of a proposed nationwide class action settlement. The plaintiffs claim that the trigger mechanism of certain bolt-action rifles, such as the Remington Model 700 and certain other models, are defectively designed and can result in firing without a trigger pull. Remington denies these allegations, but to serve its valued customers, may replace these new triggers for no charge with a brand new X-Mark Pro trigger or other trigger mechanism. Safety has always been a priority for Remington. You may opt out or object by November 18. To participate or learn more, visit RemingtonFirearmsClassActionSettlement.com or call 1-800-876-5940. That's 1-800-876-5940. 1-800-876-5940. Visit RemingtonFirearmsClassActionSettlement.com or call 1-800-876-5940.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we do have mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now in the upper 40s to low 50s with light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. And we are tracking light showers off and on across the region. The storm system from the weekend has pulled away along the U.S.-Canadian border, but it's been replaced by another cold front and another approaching storm system. That means an 80 to 90% chance of showers off and on throughout today, as well as into tomorrow. This afternoon, the mostly cloudy skies will continue. Highs will only climb into the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will stay southwest at 5 to 10, and we're looking at a full half an inch of showers off and on today with another half inch tomorrow. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day and you can stay out of the light rain.
What do I got to do?
Entertain your brain this morning.
Got to broaden your mind a little bit.
With the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
7:48, 12 away from 8 o'clock. If you have any nutrition/protein/workout questions and you want to get it in with Tom from Max Muscle, you can email 1120kpnw@gmail.com. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Certified nutritionist with Max Muscle. I'm curious if somebody, say, went to won a door prize and they got one item that they were going to get complimentary from Max Muscle, where would you steer them? One thing, what do you think is the most important thing that you sell?
Probably a multivitamin. Yeah, we probably lead them right towards the multivitamin first. If that was the only thing they had to get, it would be a multivitamin.
And why?
About 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, the American Medical Association actually released a study, and they stated that everybody in America should take a good multivitamin because our soils are so corrupt from over farming, we're just not getting the vitamins, minerals, nutrients that our bodies require. So everybody should take a good multivitamin.
And what
constitutes a good multivitamin?
Yeah.
You know, it's actually the profile of that vitamin. What's in that multivitamin, and how is that vitamin made? You know, we have one called VitaCell. It's a liquid multivitamin, 100% natural, no stimulants, no sugars. No added sugars, none of that garbage put in there. And it's a full vitamin mineral profile. And what we do is we actually put clinical dosages in everything. So say vitamin B, B6 supposed to be 100 milligrams, and I have no idea what the actual clinical dosage that's supposed to be. We actually put that amount in there. We don't just put trace amounts in there. We actually put the clinical dosages in, so your body gets exactly what it needs. There's a lot of vitamins out there, a lot of pill forms, and there's a lot of great profiles. When you read them, it's like, holy cow, this is a great profile. But when you actually look at the vitamin as far as how it's made, you're really not getting everything that they say there is. There's tens of thousands of studies on the internet that show that, where your body won't actually break down a lot of pills. Because what they do is they take those ingredients, they dry them, They grind them to a really, really fine powder, and then they assemble those vitamins with whatever it is that they're going to put in there. The binders they use and the heat that they use when they heat press those, a lot of the times our bodies don't recognize the binders that they assemble those with, so we don't produce an enzyme to break them down. And then the heat, how they press those together, it's just not in our systems long enough to break that vitamin down. And so you actually defecate about 60% of that multivitamin out. And again, tens of thousands of studies on that show that. So, for instance, Bob's One a Day, best multivitamin profile on the market. When you sit there and look at it, it's got 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 10,000 milligrams of vitamin A and whatever's in there. You're not getting that. They're hoping by the time your body breaks down whatever it can before it goes out the other end, you get 100% of the daily recommended allowance is what they're hoping for. It's amazing how much of that stuff is out there that's just not true anymore.
You made a comment talking about the thousands of studies. You can take whatever you want, whatever subject you're trying to research, and you're going to find 20,000 different opinions, and
Absolutely.
some are going to be contradictory. When you're doing your research, what is something to keep in mind so you can really get a legit idea from your research?
One of the things that we like to do is, of course, we use multiple sources. I get a ton of emails. I subscribe to different doctors and different nutrition.
Is there one that you like, especially?
No, I just got like 3 or 4 or 5 of them that I actually subscribe to, and I read them. And most of the time, when you filter out all the garbage, all the stuff that maybe they're getting sponsored by somebody, or maybe they're getting a little, whatever it may be, when you actually filter all that stuff out, most of them are actually pretty close to being the same, if that makes sense. Most of them will say, vitamin C is a great vitamin because it helps do this, it helps do that, helps fight the cold off it, all this sort of stuff. And some guys say, well, it really doesn't do this, or that guy says it really does this a lot better than this, whatever it may be. But then when you filter through all the stuff, they're all pretty much accurate. It's pretty interesting.
Off the email, are the multivitamins USP?
Yes.
Why don't you talk about
for people
folks
that don't know, USP means?
USP is a independent lab that actually tests the products, and they certify everything that says, yes, this is a great product, and this is what's in there. And all of our stuff is quality ingredients guaranteed. We have a QIG sticker on all of ours that say if we put this in that product, that's exactly what's in there. We actually have, every time we get a shipment into our warehouse, it gets quarantined. And they bring some inspector in, and they will spot check. They'll pull one of these, one of those, whatever it may be, and they actually take it all apart.
Okay, but go ahead and finish that thought.
They take it all apart, whatever it may be, and they say, yes, this is exactly what's in there, so we can maintain that.
Okay, so, writes this person. Good morning. I hear the radio spots along with the interviews. There's a ton of information on products and nutritional health, but I never hear a peep about vegans. Nothing about vegan products that are carried, or even special nutritional requirements for those on the vegan diet. I'd appreciate hearing anything for the vegan.
We carry vegan products. I have vegan flax oils. I've got vegan proteins. Most of our multivitamins, things like that, are going to be vegan approved. Absolutely.
It's funny that came across, because my next question had to deal with meat, say, a good something steak, or compared to the protein powder that you would sell. As far as a different assimilation, compare the two. Which would be better for the body as far as breaking down and actually using?
Obviously, our bodies were designed to break down meats. When you go all the way back to the Stone Age, our bodies were designed to break down meats. And there's, we can talk about the caveman diet, and they didn't hunt and they didn't kill, animals, so they ate a lot of fruits and berries and nuts and that sort of stuff. But our bodies are designed to break down whole foods first, But any supplement that you're going to buy at a supplement store, ours or anybody else's, it is exactly that. It is a supplement or supplementation of real or whole foods. But life gets in the way of life, and we know that, and sometimes we don't have time to actually eat whole foods, and that's where, of course, it comes in for a quality protein powder or whatever else you're going to do. And back to that multivitamin real quick, and that's what the American Medical Association was stating. Unless you have your own organic garden, you're really not getting your vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Unless you're going to spend a lot more money buying, a lot of produce and stuff, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
We got Tom from Max Muscle in studio. Now, you're getting ready to cut a commercial about holiday, trying to keep some, if you're already in shape, don't lose that summer bod. What can somebody do, maybe one or two things that might kind of keep them in the realm of where they were in July?
The biggest thing is don't overindulge. I mean, we of course we have Halloween coming up, and those of us that have kids, you got the neighborhood kids, whatever it may be, you're going to have that candy sit in the house, and you've got that temptation sitting there.
Give the kids potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Sure.
Give them some celery, a little bag of celery, and here you go. They will never stop at your house again. You don't have to worry about buying candy.
Awesome idea.
But when we actually look at when we actually look at this time of year, we've got Halloween coming up, which for a lot of us, especially with families, that's an indulgence. And now we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and that's going to be an indulgence. And you have Christmas coming up. That's going to be indulgence. We're going to go to Mom's house or Grandma's house or whatever it is, and we're going to have that apple pie or pumpkin pie or pecan pie, and put a little extra whipped cream on there. Or I'll have a little extra scoop of those mashed potatoes with gravy and things like that. Just watch what you're doing. Just don't overindulge it.
So, even one time, we're talking about, one meal where you just kind of go crazy.
No, that's fine. If you're going to do that, that's okay. But understand, you want to eat clean, make sure we're eating correctly up until that point. Don't starve yourself and just try to shovel all that stuff in there. Your body still needs the fuel. Your body still needs to eat.
And we're coming down to like the last minute or so, but if you could talk about the whole idea of eating throughout the day, say 5 meals as opposed to like 2 or 3.
Absolutely. By doing that, the main reason we're doing that is we're controlling our blood sugar levels, and that's the key to all of this stuff, is maintain your blood sugar levels in a certain range. And by doing that, you need to eat smaller meals throughout the day to keep those blood sugar levels balanced, keep your nitrogen levels elevated where they're supposed to be, and life is good.
Where are you and what's going on?
We're located at 2001 Franklin Boulevard. We're right next door, right across the street from the Market of Choice, which is right next door to the Matthew Knight Arena. Our hours are 10 to 7 Monday through Friday, 10 to 6 on Saturday, 11 to 5 on Sunday.
Tom, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Tom from Max Muscle on 1120 KPNW. Hour number 3 coming up. We're going to the dogs on KPNW.
Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair would like to remind you that weather is changing and winter is right around the corner. Getting your vehicle ready requires more than just installing snow tires. Your antifreeze protection needs to be checked, belts and hoses inspected and replaced if needed, and windshield wipers replaced for clear vision ahead. Stop by Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair today to schedule an appointment, and don't let old man winter leave you out in the cold. Call 541-345-7570 or visit midlanetruckequiprepair.com.
Can the words thrilling and efficient be used to describe the same vehicle? Yes, if it's the BMW X5 xDrive 40e i Performance. It combines an electric motor with a twin-power turbo gas engine for an EPA-rated 56 mpge and up to 540 miles per tank. And with eBoost, you get instant torque when you hit the accelerator. So go ahead, use thrilling and efficient in the same sentence, then take a test drive. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Financing and leasing available by BMW Financial Services. Visit BMW of Eugene, also online at bmwofeugene.com.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/quick. That's ZipRecruiter.com/quick.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local
ZipRecruiter.com/quick.
neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. It's hammering Haiti and could soon batter the Bahamas. And the worry about Hurricane Matthew stretches to the U.S.
You can expect to see impacts on Florida beginning Wednesday and going through the weekend.
And Governor Rick Scott in Florida says
it has already killed multiple people. We all need to take this storm seriously.
The storm made landfall early this morning on the western side of Haiti and could dump as much as 40 inches of rain on areas there with 145-mile-an-hour wind. The storm is going to hit Cuba and the Bahamas and move toward the U.S. East Coast by the later part of the week. The Carolinas could also be in the track, and also Tropical Storm Nicole has just formed in the Atlantic. Will there be a Lloyd Benson-like memorable line or a who am I, why am I here moment? The vice presidential debate is tonight. Fox's John Decker will be there and is now live in Virginia.
VP candidates have three main goals for tonight's debate: introduce themselves to the American public, lay out their policy agenda, and defend the top of the ticket. Clinton campaign spokeswoman Christina Shockey says Democratic Virginia Senator Tim Kaine has been prepping for the past week.
He's taken this very seriously, as Hillary did too. They both very much take this seriously. There's a chance to talk directly to the American people about what they would do.
Republican Indiana Governor Mike Pence has been a stalwart defender of Donald Trump on the campaign trail and is expected to target Hillary Clinton over the course of the 90-minute debate. Dave?
John, police in Los Angeles are defending two weekend shootings that have led to protests as justified. Chief Charlie Beck says in Carnell Snell's killing after a car chase.
We have obtained video from a local business that clearly shows Snell in possession of a handgun.
And the other killing, he says officer body cam footage shows a suspect pointed a replica gun at cops. Clown costumes are banned this Halloween season in New Haven, Connecticut schools as police investigate threats posted online with pictures of clowns saying watch out after all the recent sightings in several states of menacing clowns in the woods scaring kids. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Have you heard about Neurospine Institute's movement therapy program? Based upon the traditional Chinese practice of Tai Chi, this therapeutic process can help you achieve a more balanced state of mind and body. Tai Chi is an ancient martial art that can be practiced for a variety of health benefits. It promotes effective healing, improved relaxation, and stronger resistance to illness or injury. Meditation and yoga classes are also available. Visit neurospinellc.org for the current schedule of movement therapy programs.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with two locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
The bombings continue in Syria. Activists say government forces are shelling rebel-hit areas of war-torn Aleppo, while Russia says rebels are attacking its embassy in Damascus, and the U.S. keeps criticizing the Russian involvement in Syria the day after cutting off diplomatic talks.
John Kerry condemning Russia's continued support for Syria's President Assad.
People who are serious about making peace behave differently from the way Russia has chosen to behave.
Kerry speaking in Brussels after the U.S. broke off talks with Russia about a ceasefire in Syria.
A decision that, believe me, does not come lightly.
He says Russia has turned a blind eye
to Assad's deplorable use of these weapons of war that he has chosen, chlorine gas, barrel bombs against his people.
Despite talks being suspended, Kerry saying the U.S. is not abandoning peace efforts. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
It's the defense's turn today to address the jury in Georgia in the trial of a father accused of murdering his son by leaving him in a hot SUV.
Prosecutors Monday called the charges against 35-year-old Justin Ross Harris, a case about death, deception, and a double life. He's accused of leaving his one-year-old son, Cooper, in a hot car until he died in suburban Atlanta in 2014. As prosecutors say, he focused on sexual liaisons with prostitutes, even teenagers, whom he met online, and that Ross searched how long it takes for a child to die in a hot car.
He never did it. He never did it. And the police knew it. You know, that man sitting over there, he may have been an adulterer, but he was devastated by the loss of his son.
The defense in opening statements today calling Harris a good father and his son's death a tragic accident. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And that tropical storm Nicole that's just formed in the Atlantic, it looks like it's a threat mainly to Bermuda this week. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
.805 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Cloudy with the rain off and on. 50% chance of rain today. 58 for the high. Cloudy and some rain overnight. 80% chance of rain. Speaking of Highway 58, just know you got it coming if you're coming in, say, from Oak Ridge, 15 miles west of Oak Ridge, milepost 20. They still got the cleanup efforts and the flaggers out there. Again, milepost 20, Highway 58 from the accident that happened a couple days ago, a fatality with how many gallons of fuel?
Thousands, let's see, in excess of 50,000. If you consider the diesel and the gasoline, you're talking about 52,000 gallons, something like that. A lot of it went up, unfortunately, or fortunately, in flames. It was a horrible accident. I mean, the driver died. It was just, I mean, it was a tragedy, but fortunately, they didn't have as big a spill because a lot of it just burned. And, of course, they're right there by, Lookout Point Lake, and fortunately, none of it made it down to the lake. So, I mean, what they're dealing with, as you'll hear in the news, a big part of it is just the damage that was done to the highway there. Anytime you have a fire like that on the roadway, it totally, breaks down the tarmac. And so there's going to be repaving, probably rebuilding the shoulder, and a number of other things you're going to have to do, and it's going to take some time. We'll have that updated as part of the news coming up. We'll have the latest on the fallout from Bud Pierce's comments in the Friday debate about women and abuse. That story will be coming up. Also, the trial of Ammon Bundy. He's expected to testify today in his own defense. Those stories and more all ahead, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
52 degrees at 8:07.
It's back to school time and morning mayhem at its family finest. Well, stop the insanity and treat yourself and the kids to Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. Save yourself a little stress and go through the Burrito Amigos drive-thru on West 6th in Eugene or on 42nd Street in Springfield. No fighting over milk, cereal, or the last piece of bacon. Burrito Amigos has great breakfast burritos, like their bacon burritos with 2 types of bacon, or their machaca burrito, made with real Angus beef. Of course, if your little one or maybe you likes to spice things up, then maybe a chorizo breakfast burrito will kick it up a notch, to steal a phrase. Burrito Amigos drive-thrus also offer espresso for a meal and a mocha while you motor. For little appetites, there's the junior-sized burritos, and for your burgeoning linemen, get them full-size. The kids will love Burrito Amigos as a breakfast treat, and you'll love Burrito Amigos because you didn't have to make anything. I'm Bill London, and as a parent, I endorse Burrito Amigos as an instrument of morning mental health. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
Ladies and gents, it's showtime at the Lane County Home Improvement Show. Find all the ideas, products, and inspiration to transform your home and yard. Meet trusted home and garden experts. Remodel it now. Learn from our experts about major remodels, daring kitchen designs, selected contractors, aging in place, high-style designs, and selecting the best materials. Get tailgating with America's favorite grilling buddies. Experience Pumpkin Palooza. Discover what's new Friday, October 7th through Sunday, October 9th at the fairgrounds. Admission is free. EugeneHomeshow.com. At this week's show, let us entertain you. Enjoy tailgating and grilling with America's grilling buddies, Mad Dog and Merrill. On Saturday, Pumpkin Palooza returns with world-famous giant pumpkin carver Scott Cully. Get gardening with John Fisher. Save with Only Here, Only Now show specials on spas and stoves. Don't miss the antique sale and register to win valuable prizes sponsored by KEZI 9. Admission is free. Plan your visit around 40 home and garden seminars online at EugeneHomeshow.com.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
And good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. A spokeswoman for Republican gubernatorial candidate Bud Pierce said that she resigned because of a comment Pierce made during a debate about the abuse of women. Stacey Kafka, who lives in Eugene, says she quit as communications director for Pierce's campaign on Friday, a couple of hours after Pierce had said that successful women aren't as susceptible to domestic abuse and sexual violence as those on the lower rungs. If you were listening to the wake-up call last hour, you know that Bud Pierce said that that was a huge mistake on his part, that he apologized for it, that he owned his comments, and said that he was wrong at the time. However, Kafka still said that she resigned because she was upset over what he had said. She said that as a former low-paid TV reporter, she did not feel she was more prone to being targeted for abuse than a more highly paid woman.
Kevin Smith, a 62-year-old man from Lakeview, has been identified as the man who lost his life after the truck he was driving overturned on Highway 58 Saturday night and caught fire.
When the vehicle combination veered off the right shoulder, causing a trailer to overturn and ignite on fire. The vehicle combination became fully engulfed in flames, and information indicates that Smith was unable to exit the vehicle.
Kyle Hovey of the Oregon State Police says Highway 58 is still down to only one lane at milepost 20. Crews are cleaning up the debris and the fuel left behind today. The truck was carrying 47,000 gallons of gas and about 6,000 gallons of diesel. Most of the fuel went up in flames when the truck crashed, but some of the fuel did leak onto the side of the road. You couple that with the physical damage to the road, and ODOT is keeping busy.
We're looking at an extended lane closure probably into next week. But we will know more on Wednesday as they get more of the contaminated dirt removed.
Angela Beers-Seidel of ODOT confirms both the DEQ and the Oregon Department of Transportation are tackling the road repair. The good news is that nearby Lookout Point Lake has been checked multiple times, and it's not showing any signs of fuel contaminating the water there. The Lane County Assessment and Taxation Office is going to start reappraising more than 3,100 residential properties in West Springfield this month. The reappraisals includes a property inspection to confirm the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. Appraisers are also going to be looking to ask residents to confirm square footage and answer basic questions about home condition, features, and improvements. Lane County is required to reappraise areas where property values are unusually varied, an indicator of unreliable or outdated appraisal data. Those neighborhoods were last appraised more than 20 years ago. Reappraisal will help ensure all homes in the neighborhoods are accurately valued, not just those that sold recently. The reason for that is, well, the county wants every tax dollar they can squeeze out of them. Appraisers will also begin reappraising more than 120 commercial manufactured home parks across Lane County. The daughter of the late University of Oregon president Dave Frohnmeyer died over the weekend. Amy Frohnmeyer Wynn had the rare blood disorder Fanconi anemia, which caused the deaths of her two sisters. She was only 29. The disease left her more susceptible to illnesses. A spokesperson for the Fanconi Anemia Research Fund said she died of pneumonia. She served as a board member for the fund, which was started by her father in 1989. Dave Frohnmeyer passed away last year because of cancer. The Frohnmeyers had 5 children in all. Amy is survived by her mother, Lynn, and brothers Jonathan and Mark. The organizer of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge occupation is expected to testify today at his trial in Portland. Brad Ford has more.
Ammon Bundy's testimony was delayed because the judge asked his attorney to reduce the amount of video and photos to be used during testimony. Bundy's wife, Lisa, is there to watch him testify. She says his point will be it was a constitutional demonstration.
That we as Americans individually have our rights, our God-given rights, and that's all we were trying to do.
Harney County Sheriff Dave Ward testified that he did not misrepresent the amount of support there was to end the occupation. Ward testified that Bundy posted lies on social media, which the sheriff says caused him to lose trust in Bundy. The judge did toss the firearms charge against defendant Shauna Cox because prosecutors lacked evidence for that charge. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
All right. Well, clown sightings have now spread to Oregon following reports of scary clowns in South Carolina and elsewhere around the country. I don't mind saying I feel weird saying the phrase scary clowns. On Friday, 20-year-old Crystal Foster was driving near O'Brien Square in Portland when a man in a silver and black clown mask approached her car. Foster said the clown banged on her windows and tried to open her door before she drove away and called police. Then last Wednesday, a woman in Redmond reported seeing a person wearing a creepy clown mask with blue-painted teeth. There have been reports of clown sightings in at least 10 states. The Portland Trailblazers will demonstrate during the national anthem before games this year. Damian Lillard, one of the millionaires on the team, says they all agreed to form a circle to show support for each other and civil rights equality.
I'm a proud American, but the reason behind the protesting, I share that same belief. I share that same feeling, being an African American. And obviously every other guy on this team shares that belief as well.
The Blazers have normally stood in a straight line during the national anthem. The movement was started by San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the anthem. Oregon State Police say they have matched DNA from more than 24 backlogged sexual assault kits to DNA in a national database. Results have come back on several hundred rape kits sent to the Salt Lake City area for testing, including 33 that matched the national database DNA profiles. Oregon State Police Captain and former Lane County DA Alex Gardner says the biological samples can be tested against suspected attackers or used to back up testimony. Oregon Police sent several hundred untested kits to Utah after the state passed legislation meant to speed up the testing. When Melissa's Law passed 6 months ago, nearly 5,000 untested kits were being stored around the state, including about 200 untested kits in Eugene and Springfield. Authorities are still struggling to process thousands of rape kits. New rape kits are streaming in. At the same time, police say they're trying to sort through the backlog. Authorities say it's not clear which kits should be prioritized. Officials say 6 analysts have been hired, but at least 3 positions are still unfilled. New forensic analysts need extensive training that requires a veteran analyst to pull off or to be pulled off current cases. Well, a new drug is being studied at OHSU that offers hope for patients with eczema. Brad Ford has that story.
A new drug is turning out to be very effective in treatment of atopic eczema. It's one of the more common types. Dr. John Hannafin says people involved in the study have severe forms of atopic dermatitis.
They have done just beautifully. About 80% of them. I mean, there's some that don't respond.
The drug is a manufactured antibody that blocks abnormal immune system responses. It has been tested in nearly 1,400 adults.
It's only been in adults. We haven't been able to treat any children.
Dr. Hannafin says the results of their study were published in the New England Journal of Medicine. If the tests continue to show promise, he thinks it might become an available drug in a year and a half. Brad Ford, KPNW.
KPNW News Time is 8:17. Last night, around 9:30, the U.S. Geological Survey says a minor earthquake hit just outside of Woodburn. The agency says it was 3.1 on the Richter scale. They also say it was about 14 miles deep. It was small. No damage was reported, although that earthquake was in the same general vicinity as the well-known spring break quake that occurred back in the 90s just outside of Mount Angel, which hit a good part of western Oregon with a 5.6 trembler. Authorities say a fisherman found human bones along the bank of the Umpqua River near the Oregon coast. Douglas County Sheriff's Office spokesman DeWes Hudson says the man's boat broke down in Gardner. Once he was on shore, he started gathering firewood and found the bones. The Sheriff's Office confirmed the skeletonized remains were indeed human. The remains are unidentified. They're going to be sent to the state medical examiner's office to be examined and possibly identified. After brewing for 4 years, Falling Sky Brewing has bottled one of its first beers for the first time here in Eugene. The craft brewer bottled 3,600 22-ounce bottles of its retrograde red with the help of a mobile bottling company out of Portland.
Whole Foods approached us about, collaborating on a beer, and at first we were just going to give them kegs, and then they started talking about potentially how much beer they might, be willing to commit to buying if we did bottle, and we're friends with some mobile bottling companies, and so we thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to kind of test the waters.
Co-owner Jason Carrera says Falling Sky is selling the bottled beer at its pub on Oak Alley and at its Poorhouse and Delicatessen on Blair. The new Whole Foods Market in Eugene and 5 other Whole Foods stores in the Portland area are selling the bottled beer for $6 a bottle. So one of the main questions folks might be asking is, what if it really takes off? Does that mean that Falling Sky is going to cash out and maybe sell to the highest bidder?
Not a chance, and you can definitely quote me on that. And my business partner, Rob, we're very dedicated to what we do. We love what we do.
And we love having you around. The bottles feature a bright red label with Falling Sky's signature rain cloud logo. Well, a worker in the library at Lewis and Clark College in Portland made the discovery of a lifetime when he found a 417-year-old Bible. Sam Busson, a junior who works in the Lewis and Clark Library as an archival assistant, found the more than 400-year-old Bible by chance. He said he was ready to leave for work for the night when a box caught his eye. When he checked it out, he discovered several old Bibles, including one reportedly printed in 1599. Hannah Kroom, the head of the Special Collections Department, says it's possible the Bible is the only copy of its kind in the Pacific Northwest. Kroom said they don't know who first owned the book, but they traced ownership back to a man named Francis Fry. He was a Bible collector in the 19th century England. From there, the book was sold to a pastor in Yachats, was then donated to the college after possibly residing for a short time in Roseburg. It's 8:20. Let's look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Boy, if you love sports, there's sports everywhere you look. Great part of the year, of course, at the Portland Trailblazers cranking things up season last night with a win over Utah 98-89. Damian Lillard 16 in the first game of the season. To the football part of the sports page, Minnesota Vikings 4-0, if you can believe it. Coach Mike Zimmer has them flying on defense and not doing bad on offense. Minnesota QB Sam Bradford threw for one more yard than Eli, 262-261. The difference, he threw for a TD while Eli threw for an INT. Vikings win prime time 24-10 over the Giants. It is fall, so college football is staple. Your Oregon Ducks football team going to find it even more difficult to defend number 10 Washington this weekend without the services of their leading tackler, Johnny Reagan. The linebacker crew, very, very depleted with the loss of, or not the loss, but just the slow going of A.J. Hodgkins and Troy Dye. Going to be a very, very tough go this weekend if they're going to get number 13 consecutive. Golf, Ryder Cup happened. Right now, the Nike Invitational at Colonial in Texas is going on. Oregon's Wyndham Clark, second-round leader after a 4-under 66. He's up there with Stanford's Maverick McNeely. If you're looking for something to do on Friday, check out the alumni baseball game at PK, 3:30. It's free. Rockies pitcher Tyler Anderson will be on hand. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Don't get sold, get educated by a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle in Eugene on Franklin across from Market of Choice. News time, 8:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We've got mostly cloudy skies out there right now. Temps in the upper 40s to low 50s. Light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10, and we are tracking light showers off and on the radar. Those light showers off and on will continue into the afternoon as a second set of storm cores moves into the area, as well as a cold front. 80% chance of showers this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies will dominate. Highs will only be in the upper 50s to low 60s. 61 here in town, and winds will stay southwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Latest data suggests we could be looking at a half inch of showers today, as well as another half inch tomorrow in the valleys, with a full inch to an inch and a half over the next 48 hours along the coast. Simply put, the rainy weather is here for the next couple of days. The computers are dividing on what happens after that. I'll keep an eye on it for you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Does your home or business have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Discover why Ramjack is the only foundation company you'll ever need. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Choose Ramjack. CCV 146906.
Hey guys, watch my new bike trick. Whoa!
Accidents happen. When they do, Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center can help you get on the road to recovery faster. With the area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center. Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center is owned in part by physicians.
You can. You can do a lot of things. You can build your business. You can memorize a customer's name in the blink of an eye. You can calculate profit margin and balance the books. You can pull off a hard hat. You can wear a genuine smile, even during a long, hard day. You can even remember the delivery guy's birthday. You can grow your business simply because you believe you can.
Now may be the perfect time to grow, and U.S. Bank is here to help. Get financing for the equipment you need to grow your business with competitive rates, simplified paperwork, and quick decision-making with the U.S. Bank Business Quick Loan. Plus, you may be eligible for a Section 179 tax credit of up to $500,000. U.S. Bank, the power of possible. Maximum quick loan amount is $250,000. Credit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association and are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. See a banker for details. U.S. Bank is not offering legal, tax, or financial advice. You should consult with your tax advisor for the specific impact of the Section 179 deduction and how it may apply to your business. Equal housing lender. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association, member FDIC.
Tom here at Max Muscle. You've heard about all the amazing flavors of Max Pro, and now the wait is over. S'mores. The new flavor of Max Pro is in stores now. The perfect high-protein, low-carb, no-sugar shake. Come on in, give it a try. Max Muscle on Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text LEARN to 42424. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU online degrees, text LEARN to 42424. Again, that's LEARN to 42424.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
$8:26. Good morning to you. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. You might just be able to, it's not a giveaway per se, but we do have, we come bearing gifts in the form of today's puppy. We got Julie from Lucky Paws and a very sweet little girl who's just a
little bit shy.
A little shy, not really feeling the comfort.
She opens up after a little bit, but
hi, baby.
It's a new place.
How did Titan do last week?
So Titan actually did fantastic at
The
PetSmart.
Dane purred.
He didn't get adopted, but he was fantastic as far as meeting other dogs and meeting tons of people. Yeah, he's awesome.
I think Bill and I were both fans.
He's ready. He's ready for a
whatever
home.
name they come up with. He was
he's hilarious.
cool.
Yesterday, he's
so goofy.
He's so goofy. We were trying to play fetch yesterday, and those long legs, they just bound through, across the yard. And he grabs whatever you threw and then sees something else and drops it and runs to go see what that is. His attention span needs a little work. But
I can identify with that.
He's so funny to watch.
This one is funny.
Yeah, so this...
The whole... I'm not looking at you, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. I'm not looking at you. I'm not paying attention. You don't exist, but I am looking at you.
She is adorable. She's
She
adorable.
She is
cutie.
adorable. Very shy.
She's very shy. And apparently, I don't know her whole story other than we were just asked to take her at the last minute this weekend when the transport was coming through because all of her siblings, and their Rottweiler German Shepherd is what we were told, but all of her siblings died. And so she was the only one left and super scared. So I only got her Sunday. But she's a cute little thing, and she's opening up at home. She's kind of like too good to be true so far, I think, because she's so nervous. She's quiet. She sleeps all night. Doesn't make a peep. And she's happy to be with my dog, who treats her like a baby. So she follows him everywhere.
Yeah, I was curious how she was with other dogs, but she's okay.
Absolutely fine. And she plays. Here she's been a little shy, but she was starting to open up. But she'll kind of bounce around, and she wants to play really badly, and doesn't quite know how. We're not
Stream have her?
sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's on the stream.
She's on here. We're not sure about her history, but she has a really bad spot on her back that the vet thinks is a burn. It's almost like the skin is plasticky feeling. They said kind of like it's been burned, and it's healed, but yeah. So we don't know what her history was, but obviously
He doesn't need any more attention there. It's just going to heal further, or
I put a little bit of cream on it, but it's not. It's like it's just missing hair. It's not a sore or anything. It's really odd. And for her, I mean, well, we were told 8 weeks. She's clearly not 8 weeks old. She's huge, but she has baby teeth. So I'm guessing maybe 3 months old or so.
So cute.
She's going to be a big dog.
So what's her timeline?
Well, she does have to have a 2-week quarantine just because we don't know her history and all of that. So she's at my house for 2 weeks, and but if somebody's interested in her, obviously we don't get a mix like this very often. So if Rottweiler German Shepherd is something you've been looking for, definitely get in touch with us, either through our Facebook page or she's like, I'm scared. Hey, girl.
Poor thing.
She needs a name, but I need a happy name.
Give that to the person who adopts her.
You can, well, obviously they'll name her, but.
I guess that would be a 2-week void, though.
Well, yeah. I've just been calling her Puppy. That's how my dog got his name, sadly.
Your dog's name is Puppy?
So the place he came from.
Wow, you're original.
Right. Well, my daughter named him. She was a year old. She named him Buppy, and it became Puppy because I think she was trying to say puppy. So we couldn't call him Bup, so his name is Pup. Yes, big 90-pound German Shepherd. His name is Pup.
Okay.
His true name is Andy von der Faltz. He does have a name, but
it's on the business card.
He's Pup. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, the place that he came from, whenever they'd call the puppies, they'd go, here, pup, 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 and all these puppies would come running, and it just stuck.
I'm looking at your adoptable puppies. Teddy.
Oh my gosh. I should bring Teddy in.
Oh my gosh, I'm in love
He's
with him.
He's amazing.
Just his face.
Teddy is an American bulldog. Yeah, I haven't
Puppy?
talked to. He's like 2 years old. He's an adult.
The pictures are awesome.
Where are you at on our
I'm at this one.
Facebook page?
Yes, I'm on the Facebook page looking at your pet finder.
So Teddy, his fosters were hoping to adopt him, but they've been trying to find a house and they haven't been able to find one. So he came back up for adoption. They decided it wasn't fair because they live in an apartment.
Okay, I'm telling you, if this dog is not adopted by next week, I'm telling you, you must bring Teddy into the studio.
He's a tricolor, so black, tan, and white, which you don't see ever. And he's an American Bully, so he's a Staffordshire Terrier and English Bulldog mix. That's what an American Bully is.
Wow.
And they have the most awesome personality.
He does. He's hilarious.
American Bulldogs, just to me, are...
I know you have to look.
Rob's. Look at that face.
He's awesome.
Okay.
We definitely have to find the right home for him, though. We've had a lot of people who want him, but we have to make sure he gets the right home. So.
Good thing, dogs don't have, sensitivity levels where we're talking about another dog.
I know.
Our puppy here is like, well, what
She's
about
like, whatever.
me?
She's just
If it was
chilling.
a human, you'd get that. Like,
yeah, not talking about me now. We've got some awesome dogs for adoption and a lot of puppies that'll be coming up in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Corgi mixes and some Chihuahuas for once.
Wow.
You never see Chihuahuas.
I know.
A diverse group.
We try to leave those for the small breed rescue, but
Man.
every once in a while.
So where would be the first? Would be.
Well, if you hear about it on the radio, you're like the first to know because we don't post them until they're getting ready for adoption. So you can, message us on our Facebook page or email rescue@luckypawssite.org. Get in touch with us and just say, hey, I'm interested in one of these puppies because we've got a whole big mixture this time. Usually it is like Chihuahuas and Pit Bulls and this time we've got a lot of little shepherd mixes and different little dogs. So we had a we had an adult shepherd come in, but we have a waiting list so long that she's already got people snatching her up. So, which is a good thing because usually the adults take a long time. So,
is that what you recommend for somebody out there that wants to
absolutely
get on the?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that,
You're looking,
that involves what? A little pre-check?
Yeah, they put in an application, and because typically German Shepherds or like the American Bully, these types of breeds, we need to make sure that they're not going to end up being bounced around.
Yeah.
They can have, behavioral issues. They can be a little harder to train, whatever. So we make sure that they're going to somebody who can handle them, and we're not giving them too much of a dog, and they're not taking on too much. Teddy is an amazing dog, but he is nervous, so he needs somebody, who can give him that support. And poor guy, when he first came in, because his ears are cropped, you can see that in the picture. Mm-hmm. His ears were so badly infected they were closed shut.
Oh.
So he's doing great now. And yeah, we're looking for a home for him, preferably somebody, who knows bullies or that type of dog. I mean, you don't have to, but if you've owned a Chihuahua and nothing else ever, it might be.
Yeah, a little bit of a difference there in personality.
Yeah. And he loves to play. He loves to go to the dog park, but you've got to be on your toes because bulldogs, if another dog challenges them, that can become a situation. So definitely have to know what you're dealing with.
What about volunteers, donations? What do you need?
So we always need donations. Cat food, actually, for once. We have a purebred Bengal cat that had pancreatitis. So he has to have special food, which I bought on Sunday at $30 for a teeny tiny little 5-pound bag. So he should be able to get over that pretty soon, but it's got to be just a really low fat, low protein food. And so we could use canned food, a good canned food, like grain-free. And nobody ever gives us cat stuff because we don't have very many cats usually. But if people want to go into PetSmart, and the food was a limited ingredient is what it has to be, and its Natural Balance was the only one that had the low protein without going to a prescription diet. So by all means, we'd love it.
Bring it down.
Want to bring us something like that, yeah, because that little bag of food's going to go in a week. But we are gearing up, obviously, for the holidays. So we'll be at PetSmart with an event. That's without looking at a calendar, 20-something, that's Saturday.
22nd?
22nd, whatever that weekend is, yeah, that Saturday. And then the following weekend, we are doing another event at Cascade Animal Clinic. So our 2 big Halloween parties of the year.
Coming up.
So come on out, because we're doing pictures, bring your pet in a costume. We'll have pet, costumes for them to try on. And it's all donations and just lots of fun. Be raffle baskets and all kinds of stuff.
So that'll be a busy weekend because that will be the weekend that the puppies are eligible.
Exactly. So they will all be there as well.
Very cool. All right, Julie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Let's get some forever homes out there, and they're doing some good things out there. It's Lucky Paws in with the Wake Up Call, 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Equities swinging between gains and losses along with crude oil. Utilities falling for an 8th session. Investor confidence has been shaky in the past week on concerns over Europe's banking sector and Deutsche Bank in particular. A tentative deal between Southwest Airlines and its pilots may be in jeopardy. That's because Delta has a pending deal that would pay its pilots more. Southwest Pilots Union now wants to renegotiate some sections of an agreement reached at the end of August. Mylan's half-price version of its EpiPen allergy shot will be available by the end of the year. That's months later than a timeline the company gave in August. Mylan has attracted the wrath of Congress by boosting the list price of the EpiPen more than 6-fold since 2007. Procter Procter & Gamble is under mounting pressure to either fend off the competitors or buy one of them. The maker of Tide and Crest is struggling to maintain its position in key categories. Companies with so-called sustainable brands are chipping away at P&G's long-standing hold on American households. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's fall. That can mean football weather or a blazing heat wave, depending on what Mother Nature has in mind. Don't sweat Mother Nature's moodiness. Talk to the home comfort specialists at Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal for help. They have advanced heating and cooling systems from Lennox that can keep your home perfectly comfortable no matter what's going on outside. And right now, Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal is offering up to a $1,600 rebate and 9.99% financing on a qualifying new Lennox system. That's up to a $1,600 rebate on an innovative, highly efficient heating and cooling system that can put you in control of your home comfort and your monthly utility bills. So seize the day. Call the experts at Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal right now at 541-688-5004. That's 541-688-5004. Or visit them online at beamerheating.com. License number 4483.
Every election year, you hear lots of promises and few guarantees. Lars Larson here to tell you about one guarantee you have right here in Eugene and Lane County. Jeremy Parmenter will sell your home. That's right. Jeremy guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it. And Jeremy will sell your home fast. Darbin and Ruby wanted to sell their home and move out of the country. They didn't need the extra stress that comes with selling their home, so they called Jeremy Parmenter. He sold their home in less than 30 days, right on schedule, and got them $10,000 more than any house in that neighborhood. Why would you think of working with any other agent in Eugene or Lane County? And there's no risk. If you want out of the contract, you're out. Call the only agent I recommend in Eugene. Call Jeremy Parmenter at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. Online, OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com. That's OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-400-1154.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-400-1154. That's 1-800-400-1154.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We've got mostly cloudy skies out there right now. Temps in the upper 40s to low 50s. Light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10, and we are tracking light showers off and on the radar. Those light showers off and on will continue into the afternoon as a second set of storm cores moves into the area, as well as a cold front. 80% chance of showers this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies will dominate. Highs will only be in the upper 50s to low 60s. 61 here in town, and winds will stay southwest at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Latest data suggests we could be looking at a half-inch of showers today, as well as another half-inch tomorrow in the valleys, with a full inch to an inch and a half over the next 48 hours along the coast. Simply put, the rainy weather is here for the next couple of days. The computers are dividing on what happens after that. I'll keep an eye on it for you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
All right. So, if you haven't gone to Zero Res of Eugene, and I'm talking about their Facebook page, check them out, and you're going to find out how they're kind of doing some stuff for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As a matter of fact, this month, what they're doing is they're going to choose, they want to hear from you, and then they're going to make a donation to a local breast cancer awareness organization that means the most to the folks that actually listen. So, check them out on Facebook. Just go to Zero Res. And while you're at it, if you're thinking about having your carpet cleaned, consider Zero Res. If you're somebody that's chemical sensitive, note that Zero Res doesn't use any chemicals. They use what they refer to as empowered water, which you think, well, what's that? It's water that has been run through an electrolysis process. And when you take water and run it through an electrolysis process, and you can go on the internet and Google this, it basically changes the pH of the water. It moves more towards an alkali, which allows it to lift stains. The thing is, once you remove it from that process, it slowly reverts back to just plain old water. So what's evaporating from your carpet doesn't have a bunch of fumes, it doesn't smell, it doesn't leave a film because it's just water at the end of the day. So your carpets look clean, you don't have the sticky, stinky residue, and hey, they do a great job. So, right now, you pay $44 a room cleaned. You mentioned me, Bill London, or KPNW, and you'll get 15% off all services for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And don't forget to check them out, Zero Res, on Facebook, and find out how you can nominate a local breast cancer awareness organization that means the most to you. Call them, 541-9880. That's 541-988-ZERO. Zero Res.
This is Congressman Peter DeFazio.
It's great that you're listening to the Wake Up Call here on 1120 KPNW, and I always find the show a great way to get the day started. We'll take that, yeah, Bill?
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
846 News Radio 1120 KPNW. We have Ed Bach in the studio. He is the director for the South Willamette Valley Honor Flight. Going to get used to that because we're used to Mr. Punjacar, but the first time that you're in studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
What prompted you to get involved with Honor Flight in the first place?
Well, my father is a World War II and Korean War veteran. He served in the Marines, and in 2012 he called and said, would you like to go with me on an honor flight? And I said, well, tell me a little more about it. When he did, I said, sure, I'd like to go. And he said, well, I'm not sure whether I'm going to take you or my girlfriend. He was 90 at the time. So, of course, he took me. I think he was pulling my leg. I better hope he was anyway. We went out of Arizona. He lives down there. And I immediately saw that this was something I wanted to be involved in. So I came back with some contacts I'd made there. I was able to get hooked up with Mike in 2000, probably still at the end of 2012, and then started helping out with Mike with 2013.
So when you, if you are, say, sitting across somebody that doesn't know about it, what would you tell them about that as far as the emotional part? You've been kind of on both sides of it now as far as you're now involved and you weren't as kind of a newbie.
Right.
Kind of give the overview for somebody that maybe has never even heard about Honor Flight listening right now.
Well, Honor Flight simply is a program that flies veterans of our conflicts overseas to Washington, D.C. to see their memorials, to give them the thanks and appreciation that many of them never received, whether they were World War II, Korea, Vietnam. It's a group of people, some who've gone 8 times now on their own with veterans because they believe in it, they're passionate about it, and they think these men and women deserve our thanks and appreciation.
Even to, say 10, 20, 25 years from now, when you think about that experience with your dad, what one highlight are you going to think about the most?
The thing that stands out the entire trip is the crowds of people that are there to applaud, to thank, to shake hands, and to tell these veterans that they were appreciated for what they did.
How did you hold up on that? I think I would be a mess. I'd have mascara everywhere.
Well, I don't wear mascara, so I wouldn't have it everywhere. But if I had mascara on, I'd have it everywhere because every trip I go on now,
we'd be calling you Tammy Faye Ed.
You could be. Yeah, it's very emotional. You get to, particularly up to Arlington during the changing of the guard and the wreath laying ceremony, and you can't help but feel a lot of emotion.
One thing that I have been struck by is, a lot of these men and women are so humble, and you give them a compliment or you talk to them, and they are so directive as far as they won't absorb or even say thank you. I find a lot of people don't feel like Honor Flight is for them.
That's correct. We get a lot of.
How do you combat that?
We simply try to explain to them that this is for serving your country. It doesn't matter whether you actually served in the field of battle or whether you were behind the lines or if you were in an office complex someplace in the States. You signed on the dotted line to serve this country. You didn't know that you weren't going to go overseas and be involved in one of the battles, but you were willing to step forward and protect this country, which literally the World War II veterans protected the world.
They saved the world.
They saved the world is correct.
Ed Bach, the director for the South Willamette Valley Honor Flight, in studio. What is the extent of the need for people to come as, and I'll just say chaperones, even though I have kind of a problem with that, but an assistant, a buddy? What's the need?
Well, we call them guardians. They're there to make sure that the veteran, who can be upwards of middle to late 90s, we are taking Vietnam vets this trip, and so there'll be some of them in their 70s.
Is that a first?
This is a first. We'll have 9 Vietnam veterans on this trip. We have 3 needs. We need veterans to sign up because we want to take them and thank them. This is no cost to you. It's through donations from companies and individuals. We want veterans. We need guardians to come alongside us, alongside them.
And that's about how much coming out of your pocket?
This particular trip, it's $900. We've ranged from $900 to $1,150. It depends on the airline ticket that we can get, the pricing at the time.
Does that include food?
The $900 to $1,150 includes everything. You can literally leave your wallet at home. And
just bring your ID.
Bring your ID, yes, because TSA wants to see that, and you'll have to pass through that twice. But leave your wallet at home. That fee covers everything: meals, transportation, both on the ground and in the air, room and lodging, everything. Police escort. We have the park police escort us all around town, so we get to run red lights and go the wrong way down one-way streets, and whatever the park police decide we're going to do, we do it, and we get to feel like kings. So we do need guardians because we do have a lot of veterans who don't have family nearby that want to go or can afford to go. So we need guardians to come alongside them. And on this trip, I think we've probably got 15 to 20 non-family member guardians.
How much in advance are we funded? In other words, how many flights? I mean, I assume we have the next flight, paid for because that's coming up pretty soon. What about the next flight?
We do. The next flight is May 11 to 14, 2017. We do have cash in the bank right now that would cover that. But we're basically just operating that one ahead. I would like to get more comfortable with our funding.
Sure.
So that because we know that we're going to be taking Vietnam veterans for years. They're certainly my age and a little bit older. They're going to be around a while, so we'll be going for years. I would like to be a little more comfortable. We need to encourage the public and any businesses out there that are listening. We could use your support in helping to honor these veterans.
How do they get in touch with you?
They can reach the South Willamette Valley Hub through our website, which is www.swvhonorflight.org. They can email us at swvhonorflight@comcast.net. Those would be the 2 best ways to initially reach out and get a response from us.
What kind of campaigns do you have coming up that would be in the fundraiser department?
Well, I would defer that to Mr. Pungerkar if he was in the room with us because he's in charge of those things. He's just returned from Europe. So right now, I'm not aware of anything that they're going. We do have a fundraising committee that is contacting businesses and seeking donations from them. That committee meets monthly. But the committee head reports to Mike, and Mike lets me know what's going on. Right now, with Mike having been gone, things are fairly quiet.
So you might... Having said that, you might know or not know a business or two that has been instrumental and stepped up and really been kind of a faithful contributor to the honor flight?
We have one major business in Eugene who's contributed very significantly. They basically covered the cost of a flight for 50 veterans, and that would be CBT Nuggets. They're on our website as one of our major sponsors. I'm going to, for their sake, not divulge the amount, but it was significant because I can tell you that a flight with 100 people on it costs about $100,000.
Wow.
And typically we take about half veterans.
You know, thank God for people like that and companies like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
We appreciate it very much, and that's why we've activated a fundraising committee to work on encouraging other businesses. They're just getting started in the first few months, had some successes. We look forward to what they can do for us going forward.
We just had a couple of days ago had some vets in, and I think it's a disservice to society to not, get as many people to be around these people because they're amazing.
Oh, they're absolutely amazing, and as you mentioned at the beginning, so extremely humble. When you try to thank them, they deflect. I'm not the hero. It's the guys that didn't come home that are the heroes. But it's amazing to watch at the airports, at the various memorials, the young children, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, middle schoolers, high schoolers, who we tend to think are off in a world of their own. How aware these kids are. They come up and approach. Once in a while you have to encourage them, but the veterans love the attention. They love to shake hands. They love to tell stories.
Good on the parents that are having that conversation with the kids to let them know, hey, we have a lot to be indebted to these men and women for.
We see, typically what we see is the parents encouraging the kids to come forward, or by example, they'll step forward and shake a hand and say thanks to encourage their children to do the same. And then we hear them afterwards telling the kids why this was important.
Okay, so if somebody wants to be a part of the next comeback, when should they be up there at PDX?
We are leaving this Friday morning, taking our most recent trip.
But when do we want people at the airport?
We'll be back Sunday at 3:20 p.m. on Southwest Flight 167.
Okay, there you go. And we'll try to remind you on Friday. And that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow at 6:05. Ed, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Ed Bach with the SWV Honor Flight.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's locally supported by Mitsubishi Electric. So their Mitsubishi Electric factory-trained technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call. Hunting season is starting up, and Oak Grove Guns has what you need to make your hunt successful with a wide selection of shotguns, scopes, laser sights, and ammo. And if you need protection, now's the time to swing by and see Dave and Nick. They have an overstock of used handguns, all in good condition, and now every used handgun is being discounted by $25. Oak Grove Guns is the local family-owned gun and protection shop that can help you find the product that suits your needs. Oak Grove Guns, proud to supply products to responsible gun owners.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of Nubiotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-300-4046. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking Nubiotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. Nubiotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. Think you might be bloated? See how much flatter Nubiotics makes your belly. But hurry! Call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-300-4046. That's 1-800-300-4046. 1-800-300-4046.
News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. How much of an impact? The big question for the U.S. as Hurricane Matthew pounds Haiti, heading next to eastern Cuba.
If Matthew directly impacts Florida, there will be massive destruction that we haven't seen in years.
Florida Governor Rick Scott urging residents to take it seriously. Fox Radio's Evan Brown is live in Miami.
Yeah, Lisa, that hurricane watch is for a good hunk of the Florida East Coast.
From Deerfield Beach, Florida, northward to the Volusia-Brevard County line, and that means that hurricane conditions are possible somewhere within that area in the next 48 hours.
Forecaster Michael Brennan at the National Hurricane Center. A tropical storm watch is also up from Fort Lauderdale down to the Keys. Matthew's effects are expected to be felt here starting tomorrow night, and we can expect by early Thursday the eye of Matthew will be sitting just off the coastline, about to make a northward run, Lisa.
Thanks, Eben. Preps also underway in the Carolinas. Meantime, Tropical Storm Nicole, just named in the Atlantic, but not considered a threat to land for now. It's over 500 miles northeast of Puerto Rico. It's the running mates night in the presidential race. Governor Mike Pence and Senator Tim Kaine going head-to-head in Kaine's home state, Virginia. Fox's Peter Ducey in Farmville.
There are going to be 9 topics, but nobody has told Pence or Kaine what any of the 9 are.
Each doing his own version of debate prep.
Senator Kaine went on down to North Carolina last Thursday and stayed through the weekend to prepare for tonight. And since he's apparently so passionate about policy, he used big binders of information the campaign put together for him to study.
Pence, meantime, using Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker as a stand-in for some mock debates and saying he's hoping for the chance to talk about his record in Indiana versus Kaine's record in Virginia. You can hear live debate coverage on most Fox stations. Donald Trump is campaigning in Colorado and Arizona today. Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Is the economy booming? Why is the stock market up? Hey, it's an election year. Anything goes. No matter who wins, stocks look overbought. Move into silver. Use your retirement account. Do it right. Why pay setup and storage fees? Special offer. Free setup and storage fees. Learn how. Call Goldworth. Request your guide free. 800-257-GOLD. 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 Visit goldworth.com.
Me come back there. Ugh, no, that's not tough enough at all. Kids can sense weakness. Don't make me come back there. Ooh, yeah, that's better. In fact, that kind of sounded like my dad. Weird.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to listen to you practice your dad voice. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt Us Kids.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
The celebration of life and memorial service for golfing legend Arnold Palmer is taking place right now in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. A packed church, multiple celebrities, and obviously many golfers in the mix here at the church as they celebrate the life of the late golfing legend. Meanwhile, in tennis news, Maria Sharapova has had her 2-year ban for testing positive for meldonium reduced to 15 months, so she'll be eligible to return on April of 2017. The wild card game coming up tonight starts off the postseason in Major League Baseball. Marcus Stroman's been named the starting pitcher for Toronto as they host the Baltimore Orioles in the AL wild card. Orioles counter it with Chris Tillman. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks have fired GM Dave Stewart and manager Chip Hale after a 69-93 season. Marlins have fired hitting coach Barry Bonds.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, and if you're one of the first 100 callers, you can try Transcend risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-2199. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying.